WIFTBPN. WIFTBP.
Live from your studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. With Dawn Milhouse.
Whoa. If you're tuning in, this is not Dawn. Shout out to Dawn.
Still gotta say good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
Much prayers up to you and your family, Dawn. So this wonderful, lovely show that y'all are about to get today is the only one of its kind that exists in the world. And that is an intergenerational conversation between myself, Mr. Todd Stroger, and Ron Rilla.
As known as Lil Ron.
Okay, everybody who don't know, this is Lil Ron.
This is my face. Y'all could actually see the face behind the guy who gets hazed so much around here.
Listen, so we are so excited today to have an intergenerational conversation. Todd, I have been dying to pick your brain about your perspectives on some things that I need a little more clarity about. What you think about that?
Sure, Ruthie, I love fighting with you.
All right. So this intergenerational conversation today that we are going to have, we also have 6 giveaways today from these Baby It's COVID Outside Christmas baskets, courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. So we got 6 of them. And so we're going to open up the lines in a little while so that y'all can call in to win these baskets. And you don't have to pick them up today. And we got contactless delivery because we just going to put them outside and you can just come get them for y'all who worried about the Rona.
Right.
So today we are going to start this intergenerational conversation off talking about segregation and integration. So Todd, we touch on this a lot on the morning show, but my perspective on segregation and integration is the harm that it did. And I noticed that you always talk about that it was something that was necessary to see the humanity of Black people.
Oh, right.
So I want to dive into that and then get Ron's perspective.
Facts. I feel it. I
Hey, Ryan, where did you come up?
Southside Inglewood area.
Southside Inglewood. Okay. So, Todd, what is your experience personally with segregation/integration?
Well,
like what part of it did you live?
hey, Ryan, where'd you go to high school?
CVS.
Oh, that's right.
Chicago Vocation.
You're Cavalier.
East Side?
It's CVCA now, but it was CVS.
Yes, my neighborhood school. And Ruthie, you went to Kankakee High?
Yep, Kankakee County.
Mm-hmm. So that they were integrated.
When we went?
When you went?
Oh, of course. Kinda, but if you really examine the landscape, you can see how some of the private schools used to cream the athletes.
yeah.
And things like that.
That's a suburban thing here too.
So it kind of turns into class a little bit at that point.
Mm-hmm. So I would say when I went to elementary school, grammar school, it was 1968. That was kindergarten.
Okay.
Or kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten. As I like
kindergarten.
68. Okay.
And so when I started, I bet you our class was probably something like 70-30 Black to white. And, then Martin Luther King gets killed, right? And
Wait, hold on, you going too fast, Todd. So in 1968, that's when all forms were declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So when you went to school, had they enacted the law or was it still segregated?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, let's just say this. When we moved into our neighborhood, we were one of the first Black families on our block,
Okay.
There's 21 houses. I bet 18 of them still had white people.
Okay.
So the whole neighborhood was changing. But, Catholic schools a little different. The Catholic school was mixed. That didn't mean they wanted us there per se, but
they let y'all in.
Yes. But so my sister is like 6 years older than me. So she was, in the upper grades. So she remembers it a lot better than I do because I was, 5, 6. But by the time I got to first grade, it was like 80% black. By the time I got to second grade, it was like 98% because there was like one white family that was holding out. They were like, well, we're not leaving yet. We own something here.
But the rest of them, white flight, they left.
That's right. We had one white kid, and all the rest of us were black.
Did those white people leave because of integration? They didn't want their kids to go to school with black kids?
Yeah, they didn't want to go to school. They didn't live next to you. Yeah, that's why they left. So they all left, and for the most part, I guess our neighborhood was mostly Irish.
Okay.
Even though there was, I guess, some other things. But even Catholic schools, before the 70s were segregated. So, the Irish neighborhoods had Irish schools. The Polish neighborhoods had Polish schools. Lithuanians had Lithuanian Catholic schools. So then I went to high school, and my high school had people from all over. When I say all over, I mean start with the north suburbs, go all the way around west, southern suburbs, DuPage, and all over Chicago. And the most interesting thing I always thought was when you go to lunch, all the tables were segregated.
Okay.
So you basically I ate with the South Siders. Well, I ate with some West Siders too, because I was kind of I wasn't a cool kid. So, but there was a whole bunch of cool South Siders who ate together, all black.
Okay.
The people from Beverly all ate together. The North Side white guys ate together. It was segregated.
Even though it was integrated.
Even though the school was integrated, yeah.
How did y'all treat one another? Were y'all able to mingle together at some points, or was it always separate?
So when we first got there, for me, and that's in 1977.
Okay.
This is probably the first time we've ever interacted. Well, not me, but for a lot of people, it was the first time they interacted with anybody who didn't come from, didn't look like them. So for some, there was a lot of kidding around, you might call the other guy, Mickey, because for a derogatory term for the Irish guy, the Irish guy may say something back to you like, could be, well, I wouldn't say anything about being a spear chucker or something like that,
Okay. So like just
racist
racist jokes and playing the dozens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So
and that's our first real encounters with each other.
So what do you think about the formation of street organizations based on some of that treatment that was going on with those tensions?
Well, I think right off the bat, you have to know the history of America. And street organizations don't start with black people.
No. I'm talking about just through that tension, how the different groups felt like they had to protect themselves.
I like to lay a groundwork for how we get here.
The Irish had street organizations?
Certainly, everybody. Every immigrant had a street organization of some sort.
With the function to protect themselves against other racial groups, right?
No. Basically, it was, well, that's part of it, but basically, they're trying to protect themselves from the guys who live on the next block. Because if you look at Ron, you're younger than me, maybe you know a little bit more, but if you look at the black street organizations, as they call them, but I call them gangs, you'll find that they're only like taking up.
They be right up the street from each other.
That's right. Like there may be
like
two groups of
from
cobras, but yeah, they call themselves different cobras.
Okay. So, don't. Okay. All right. So Todd just kind of laid out his experience with integration and segregation within schools and neighborhoods. Okay. Now, Ron, I'm gonna turn to you and I'm gonna ask you: did you go to all black schools?
Yep. After this, but let's take a break first.
Okay.
Oh, Ron's gonna keep us on track.
Yep. Actually, no. Ron is controlling the switcher. He's keeping us on track because y'all know Herb and too don't be respecting Ron breaks. But Ron, you let me know when we got a break, and I got you, my brother.
I got you. We in here. We're gonna do it the right way.
All right. We will be back. Flo. We got Flo on the board. What's up, man?
My boy Flo.
Yeah. All right. We will be back right after this break.
Chicago's Power Hour. I'm your host, Angie Mims, and
Terrence Keys, TD, a.k.a. Terrence Daniels.
I wish I had one one witness in the house.
You got one.
Got a couple of them.
I
Got a couple of them.
Two T's.
Give me a testimony.
Oh, Lord. He's did it before. Oh, Lord.
I got one.
Oh,
better. I got 5 reasons.
5 reasons. Oh, Lord. He turned it around.
Turn around. He woke me up this morning.
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this.
Go
Number
ahead.
4.
He woke me up this morning.
Come on, number 3. Come.
He woke me up.
Oh, Lord.
He woke you
That
up.
thing can touch you.
I'm
One
telling
of
you.
them 5s will get you. What's the second one?
He woke me up this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
And the number 1 reason,
Number 1. Final answer.
he woke me up
He
this
woke me
morning.
up this
He
morning.
woke me up this morning.
That's a testimony.
That's a
Turn that thing
testimony.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out chicagolegalnetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
Hey, you want to hear something dead to the sight? You know what I found you last night. Just when Mama turned out the light. I went in the living room to see what the noise that woke up me. And I saw him by the Christmas tree. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man and he can't sing.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Book of Dawn.
Yo, yo, yo.
Obviously, I'm not Dawn, and so my name is Ruthie. Got my wonderful co-host Todd Stroger.
That's not Lisa either.
Oh, that's not Lisa.
That's not Lisa.
Todd Stroger, and also Ron Rilla.
Lil Ron. I be nephew
Lil Ron.
I'm
If y'all
nephew
been
Ron.
if y'all have been waiting on Ron to get on the
I'm on
mic,
Don shows. I'm nephew
today is
Ron
the
today.
day. So today, I really want us to have an intergenerational conversation around segregation and integration. And so, if you listened before we went on break, we had Todd kind of lay out his, understanding, his perspective of segregation and integration. And of course, Todd started talking about street organizations and gangs, because I did ask what was the role in them in protecting people during integration. And so, Todd, you wanted to interject.
Oh,
what?
yeah. Even when we moved in our neighborhood, on the other side of 83rd, there was a white street gang. I forgot what the name was because I was too young. But so they were there before we were there. And I read an article in the Tribune, and that was probably like 1984. And the whole article was about the street gangs on the north side and how they interacted with each other.
Okay. So, interjecting in the comment, Robin Patrice said, tribalism is a part of every culture. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think she's absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't take much for you to not like the guy across the street.
Okay. So now I want to give y'all a different perspective on what I would deem to be segregation. Ron, what kind of schools did you grow up in?
So my the grammar school I went to was Amos Alonzo Stagg, and that's on 74th and Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Black?
All black.
All black.
I think we had like one white kid, and they used to pick on him. You know what I'm saying? But
He stood out, so people.
he didn't stay long. Probably about a year and a half. You know, it was too much.
Really?
Like they would do too much, like chase him home every day type stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was bad.
So let me ask you this, Ron. If there were 10 to 15 white boys at the school and they joined together to form a organization.
It was never that many.
Okay, so they didn't have the numbers.
No, they never. And I went to Chicago Vocational Career Academy, CVS, for high school.
Was that all black too?
All black. There was no white students at all.
Okay.
There used to be like Mexicans used to go. Not anymore, huh?
It was a few Mexicans. We did have Hispanics, but no white people.
Okay. All right.
So I didn't really start experiencing interracial integrated experiences until college. So I
Oh.
I stayed on the dorms at Chicago State University because I left the crib at like 17.
Okay.
I ain't had no place to go. So
All right.
free room and board.
Ron, I don't want to get too deep psychologically with this, but can you talk a little bit about what it was like to go from going to school with black people to going to school integrated?
It was a big change because I started I noticed the difference in like classes, like middle class.
Okay. So I'm just trying to set this scene up for y'all because this is an experience of a lot of black young people. Once you leave your segregated neighborhoods and schools and you have to integrate into like white institutions, that is a psychological shift.
Yeah, because the dorm rooms were integrated, but everybody that stayed on dorms were there on either a scholarship or played for sports. So they were all like white. Most of the people in the dorm rooms were white or black people who lived in white neighborhoods. So
you were on scholarship?
No, I wasn't on scholarship. I actually only stayed on the dorms for like 1 or 2 semesters because I couldn't afford to keep paying room and board.
Oh, okay.
I took out a loan, and that screwed me over. So you know how it is when you black.
Hey, I think that showed that you had some initiative.
Yeah, because I was doing it on my own, so I really didn't know much. I was learning as I went.
Right.
But I was eating like noodles in the dorm rooms. I had like boxes of ramen noodles. You know.
Well, that just meant that you were a college student.
But no, because
that is the staple of college students.
There was like the white kids like were actually going to grocery stores, And
they had money.
Groceries,
they had some
you know what I'm saying? They
right.
Okay. That was deep, Ron.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to interact?
Code switching.
There it is. I wanted to get there, but
you have to know how to code switch.
See, I don't think there's such a thing as code switch.
All right, here we go. Hold on. All right, here we go.
What would you call it?
I don't know, but code switch, it sounds so it doesn't sound right to me. Mm-hmm. You grow up in a place and you may have your own diction and kindergarten and stuff like that. But then there's like a thing it's not code switch. It's like Swahili. So you know what Swahili was?
A language?
Another language, right?
Yeah, but the language was used for doing business. It was something that if you came, you could learn Swahili and speak it. You didn't have to speak the language of the group right there. So everybody would learn Swahili within a certain region so they could do business together. So that I think that's why I say it's not really code switching. We're just
okay. So, but in our case, we have to switch to do business with white people, or most of the time,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Because there's more of them than there are of us, and they got all the money.
Todd. Hold on, Todd. This is where I got to push back. So, code switching. So you saying that it's more of a way to sort of speak a language of like the business class?
No, that everybody in the United States,
there's classes,
so they can all understand each other, no matter where you come from. So that's why we have what we call standard English. So we all understand standard English.
Who created standard English though?
Somebody's got to be first, doesn't it? Somebody's got to create something.
Ty, we about to open up. We gonna open up the phone lines on the next break so y'all can get in on this.
The colonists created the English language.
Oh,
so.
Todd.
Well,
speak more. Todd.
How you gonna get around the colonists creating just
Todd,
about everything?
Okay.
Well, Ruthie,
wait, let's talk about
is it time for a break?
Not yet, but hold on.
Yeah,
is it time for a break? Because I need one.
Don't get on them yet.
Okay, on this break we're gonna open up the phone lines.
And Ruthie's got to talk about her life. She talk like she ain't got no life. You had a life. What happened?
All right, so sitting in for the Book of Dawn, Ruthie, Todd, Lil Ron.
I'm gonna call Lil Ron third. I don't want to call him Lil Ron.
Third.
Okay, you like that? So we got Ron the third. And we are having an intergenerational conversation. And we're going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to read some of the comments on social. Because Todd said code switching ain't necessary. So we're going to get into that.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I ain't going to put words in your mouth either, brother.
He said code switching ain't necessary. You blacks need to just be with the whites. But okay, we're going to come back. Take us to break, man.
You are tuned in to Minding Our Black-Owned Business. We have now Wanty.
You and Michael talked about some key stuff. Basically, the project needed insurance. I'm now in the space of commercial real estate and trying to understand what that looks like. And so I have a wonderful, normal insurance person that, when I'm doing events and stuff, that covers it.
Yep.
But what happened is when you have commercial real estate, there's different insurance you need. And when you're getting a loan, my bank wanted 133% of the actual loan project covered, right? And this number was high in the six figures. We got the quotes from bigger companies like the State Farms and the Countryside and all of them. That's who they were with. I was getting back prices like between $11,000 and $15,000 for like a 6-month policy, for a construction policy. And we got to eat this ridiculous amount of money. And mind you, it's COVID. My company, there's no money coming in. Everything was stopped. I'm like, we got to do it. We got to get this insurance. Michael did that post. And with me, I'm always trying to support not just Black, but my own. If I know you, it's a trust thing, right?
Yep.
So I immediately, as soon as I sent that post, I text Mike. I'm like, dude, can you do this? And it was like a Saturday night. He hit Junior. Really? I'm like, oh, give him that contract right now, Junior. We good. And I mean, literally, I didn't know that because we're so used to hearing brands doing insurance. What I've learned during COVID is to stop and really read. I love the pictures and everything, but when you start to read the context, like people be like, when Michael or people are putting stuff and they're saying, are you really reading?
Right.
Or are you just going along with everybody saying congratulations and filtering the first thing that pops up that Facebook wants you to say? And Michael has coached me in so many things. That literally saved me money. And I wanted people to know, especially when you're getting into commercial mixed use, if it's property, you need someone with insurance. My insurance person told us, she said, it's best to go through someone like Michael, but people don't know those companies exist because what happens is they would actually solicit Michael for pricing. Then Michael would give them a price. Then Country Time put their pricing on it. And then the agent has to put their prices on it. And that's why you get triple the cost.
Right.
Everybody's hand is in it because they're reaching out to brokers.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
This is Mix La Production. This is Mix La Production.
Happy Christmas Eve, everybody.
It's Christmas Eve.
You are tuned into the Book of Dawn. I am Ruthie Moore here with Todd Stroger and Ron Rilla, a.k.a. Lil Ron.
A.k.a. Nephew Ron.
Nephew Ron, Ron the Third.
Ron the Third now.
And today, we just having an intergenerational conversation. And
Ruthie was going to tell us what it was like being a Kankakee High.
Oh, okay. So, you know, my family's from Pembroke. So I grew up in Pembroke. And maybe like...
So Pembroke's all black?
It was all black. Very rural. So all black people, right? And then I think maybe like fourth or fifth grade, I started going in, I moved into the Kankakee School District, which was, pretty integrated.
Did they pick you up on a bus?
Oh, you know what? We had to actually walk to the corner to catch the bus.
Yeah.
So almost. But in Pembroke, yes, definitely a bus. And so the reason why I kind of was curious related to Ron is because I went from an all-black place to a non-all-black place. And it was a difficult shift for me in terms of language, mannerisms, and it also gave me awareness of my blackness. And so I do know that it is a psychological transition that young people have to go through. So I know that older people experience the same thing when they go from white to black environments. And so Ron used an operative word, which was, I was okay because I learned how to code switch. And so we want to just dive a little bit more into kind of like what it means to code switch. And so we did open up the phone lines, and I'm just going to let y'all know that the first caller actually is going to win this wonderful Baby It's COVID Outside basket, courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. And we have 6 to give away. And so I want to read a couple of these comments before I turn it back to you, Todd, so that you can.
Well, we want to know more about what it was like at Kankakee.
Oh, it was regular. We had what? Honors classes, AP classes, regular classes. They did
I don't mean
tracking.
that way. I meant like your interaction with the others.
The white folks.
Oh, with the whites.
The white people.
So when I first went into the Kankakee School District, I had to adjust. And so something like, they would be like, hey, you guys. That was just so weird to me. Like kind of like talking white, right? That's why I used to call it talking white.
Did you make friends so quickly or something?
I'm a friendly person, Todd. So making friends is not very difficult for me. But I do acknowledge that.
No, but I mean, they got to be friendly back, though. That's where the real friends go.
Listen, I ain't going to be friendly to nobody that ain't friendly to me.
I hear you.
And so there is so I literally legit had to like shift my psychological perspectives. And I had to really learn code switching. Now, of course, I didn't have the language to call it code switching. Like, oh, I'm code switching. We used to call it acting white.
Yeah, acting white.
And I mean, I think some of us still might refer to it as acting white.
I know some people who do.
And so I want to kind of talk a little bit more about what you said. Wait, can we get off me now? Can I go back to you?
All right.
You want to
put too much light on Ruthie. She get nervous and start sweating.
You want to know anything else? I can tell you.
But to that acting white thing though, we even did it amongst ourselves. So that's another thing I want to talk about.
What you mean?
Because I actually even had the code switch amongst my own people.
Come on, speak on it, Ron.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have a big family. So my mother's side is big. Like my great grandfather had like 12 or 13 kids, and then from there on, and then my grandfather's side, my father's side, my great grandfather had like 20 kids, 25 kids. So
that's a lot of kids.
I got a lot of cousins and stuff. So it was like one side of my family was middle class, and the other side of my family was like poor, like dirt poor. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I went to the middle class side of the family's houses, they would tell me like, yo, I couldn't talk a certain way. Like we couldn't say lie. It was a cussing word to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We couldn't say the N word. But when I was at my mother's people crib, they didn't care what we said. Like if we said the N word, or you know what I'm saying, they really didn't tell us to watch our mouths as much as my other family did.
Yes.
So it was like when I would go over to my cousin's house on my mother's side, they were like, yo, you talking white. Because I would be over my father's crib for so long, you know what I'm saying, for the weekend.
Right.
And I would come back and they'd be like, why you acting white, or why you dressing like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would have to change my lingo when I went back and forth to family's crib. So we even had the code switch amongst ourselves. Because
what did that do? What did that kind of do to you psychologically? Did it give you an advantage?
It actually gave me an advantage because I started to understand, you know what I'm saying, where I fit at and not to label myself. Like I understood that I had the best of both worlds, and I knew how to use that to my advantage.
That's deep.
So I would look for knowledge from both sides of my older cousins on my mother's side were like drug dealers, and on my father's side they were like degrees, you know, technicians or engineers. So I would soak up knowledge from both sides, and I would hang out with both sides purposely, you know, at different times.
Well, you're smart.
That's deep, Ron. You know, what about... So sometimes I think young men who want to be cool... You ever read Bell Hooks? Never mind.
No.
Okay, never mind. But, okay.
Oh, Bill Hooks. I know him, but I didn't read him.
So, cool pose. So, like, how... Like, as a young black man, trying to, like, weave yourself in between those different worlds, like... But you were able to use it to your advantage. what about the young black men that don't necessarily know how to navigate it? Like, where do they oftentimes land or fall?
That's where that trying to be cool fits in. Like, I have 6 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So the older 3 is, I'm part of the older 3. We had it bad growing up. But the younger 3 actually had it better because we had integrated into the suburbs by the time I was a teenager.
Oh, which one?
South suburbs, Lincoln Heights.
I don't know what that said either.
Okay.
It's by Lincoln Mall?
Lincoln Highway. Lincoln Highway. It was
Oh,
by
okay,
Lincoln Highway.
okay.
Lincoln
By
Hi-
Lincoln
I said
Mall.
Lincoln Heights. Lincoln Highway, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we was out in the 179.
Yeah, that's far.
Far. So they would try to, mimic their older brothers, and like they would try to gang bang in school and stuff like that. Like, yo, y'all, we got out of that, so y'all don't have to do that. Like, our parents, y'all seen what our parents had to do to get us out of that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have to. Y'all don't have to try to mimic us. You don't have to gang bang. Like, my little brother would come home and ask me, like, at school they were talking about the GDs and the BDs. What are they? I'm like, man, it's nothing.
Ooh. So you were their connection to the blacks.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I want to read a couple of these comments.
They went to St. Rita.
All right, so Adrian said, I grew up in Lower Beverly when black folks were moving in, when they were first moving in. My area was all black, but the grammar school on 93rd in Hamilton was basically all white. It was an interesting and eye-opening experience. The school was 95% Irish Catholic. I'm sure y'all can figure out the rest. So it's kind of like we all
I know that school
because
it's right by Christ the King, which is the Catholic school over there. And that's where Mays sent his children.
Okay. So is there a need when we code switch and when we integrate? Like, is that necessary for survival? Now, that's kind of where I want to get into, because I don't believe in integration, Todd, and that's what we got to talk about. I do believe in code switching, however. I think it's necessary to be able to speak multiple languages.
You believe in integration. How are you going to talk to the other side if you're never around them?
I can be around them. We have neutral grounds. They can. How about they come to my side of town, or I can go to their side of town.
Oh, they do, because they know nothing's going to happen to them if they're with you. That's how it used to be.
Okay. So, Ron Rilla. So, as a young man that actually introduced code switching into the conversation, have you found that it's difficult for you to code switch with white people, or is it more harder to code switch back to other black people?
It's definitely white people.
Okay. What makes it more challenging to code switch for white people?
Because with black people at this point, I don't really care anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Interesting.
I don't care if you tell me I sound white. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking to a black person and I'm talking white, they say, you sound white, or you using big words. I don't really care anymore. But you still have to care when you talk to a white person. You still have to care.
Ooh, that is some.
You can't slip up, and
That's deep.
When you talking to them, sometimes in my head, like going to interviews and stuff, you would be thinking like, I can't slip up. I can't say finna. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I have to make sure I use the right.
Right, because you want something out of them.
The appropriate language.
Right, because you want something out of the white guy.
Yeah,
so he can't be uncomfortable, or he'll be like, no, I don't want him.
So code switching is about making white people feel comfortable?
No, it's about being able to communicate in a way that both of you can understand and come to an agreement.
That was a way for you to be able to communicate with them.
Ooh. All right, hold on. We got a caller. And also, this caller has won this wonderful Carrie K Steele gift bag. Who we got on the line?
So remember, don't hang up so we can get your information.
Okay, I don't want to say it. I get off the air, but I'm a listener.
Hello, how are you feeling today?
Hi, how you doing, Ruthie, Todd?
Great.
And Ron. We got Ron.
Lil Ron.
Okay. Hey, how you all doing? I'm enjoying your show.
Oh,
wonderful. Thank you. Do you want to add anything to our intergenerational conversation today?
No, I'm just enjoying everything.
Okay. Well, guess what? We got a basket for you. So don't hang up. We are going to take your information down, and we're going to make sure that you get this wonderful basket, courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. So congratulations. Thank you so much for calling in, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas to you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. All right. So that is our first basket giveaway. We got 6 or more if we code switching.
Well,
She
since
said
we're with
9,
Ruthie
I
Mo,
understand.
we'll say Mo.
Okay. So, I should probably get a call-in number. I'm going to say it slower than Maze. I always think Maze says the call-in number way too fast. So I'm about to say it. So y'all get ready to write it down. It's 872-259-7474. All right. Was that slow enough?
Oh, I could have wrote that down.
All right. So code switching. It's code switching to make white people feel comfortable. Todd said no.
It's not. It's not. I can agree. It's not to make them feel comfortable. It's what's another word? It's not to make them feel comfortable.
Is it to
They're
finesse?
already comfortable.
Is it to finesse them into thinking we're safe?
They already feel
In
comfortable.
some ways.
It's kind of like they want you to kiss ass.
Ooh.
Yeah. But that's everybody who's interviewing. I don't care what color you are. They want you.
Nah.
No, every interviewer wants you to know that I'm the powerful one.
Okay. All right. Hold on, y'all.
I shouldn't say interviewer, the guy who actually makes a decision, or a girl.
We got another caller.
Oh, well, it's time for a break.
Yeah.
You want to do a break or you want to do a call?
Hey, Ty, you on them breaks?
It's time for a break. It really literally is.
break.
All right. Well, I guess
Hold-
Mr.
Listen, but you can't hold on, call it like. Do not
Oh,
hang
please
up, 'cause
hold
a lot
on.
of
Yeah.
people hang up.
Yeah, we'll be right
Don't
back.
hang up.
And you're going to win this basket. Just hold on.
Yes.
All right. We will be back to the Book of Dawn with Todd Stroger, Ron Rilla, a.k.a. Lil Ron, a.k.a. Nephew. We talking about code switching and we having an intergenerational conversation. We will be right back.
What's up, good people?
Y'all go accept my request on the page so I can do the
Why would we do that? Why would we do that?
I'm trying to do the survey.
Why would we let you in? Why would we let you on the? You talking about the Iswiz Book Club page? No, why would
Nah,
we
we're gonna let you in, Ron. You need to read. I'm with that. I'm definitely put you on.
Somebody please let Ron in the Iswiz. Is it? I thought it was a public page.
I don't know. I don't run it. I don't know
who run. You got to talk to Shannon and Robin and.
You say what? Y'all group private like it's something special or something.
First of all, it is something special.
ass.
Okay,
There's something special. Okay,
you know what I'm
Ron?
saying?
Then you gonna talk it again. Don't get no punishment again now.
Right, they already came in there like, look at her being nice to Ron today. It wasn't gonna last.
You always mess.
I think Adrian came in like, for now, like just for a little while.
Just for a little while.
Just for a little while. Just for a little while. Somebody let that man in the page. Somebody let that man in the page, Robin. Please let him in. I said what I said. Herb 2, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Yo. Welcome back to the Book of Dawn. Wait, what she always say?
Morning sunshine.
Morning sunshines. I am your rich auntie Dawn.
What up, TT?
All right, nope. I'm here with Todd Stroger, Ron Rilla, a.k.a. Nephew, a.k.a. Lil Ron. And we got a bank full of calls because we trying to give out these gift baskets.
Is there any calls on right now? We got any callers?
All right.
Oh, we do.
Who we got up first?
5 of them.
Merry Christmas, caller.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, this Shannon. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon. Hey,
I
Shannon,
just want to talk to y'all. I want to give my little.
Are you from New York?
No, this is Shannon from the Shy. What you talking about? Robert Taylor's all day.
Okay. Amen.
All right, Shannon, you won you got a gift bag.
Oh, thank y'all. Hey, okay, Madam President. I appreciate you, girl.
All right, what you want to add to the convo, this intergenerational convo we having?
Okay, so for me, my father moved to Round Lake when I was 8. I was about 8 or 9. And
that sounds very white.
coming from the city. It was weekends. I would go to catch the metro train to Round Lake, and I'm from the city. I'm from Chicago, so I'm from the Robert Taylors. That's where I was born and raised. So having to maneuver that and learn it, and then getting teased when I came back because the way that I talked, the way that I started to dress, because it was a change in me. For me, I know how to code switch, right? So I'm Chicago. Everybody in Chicago knew me by my middle name. They never knew my first name. My first name is Shannon, but everybody from my family on my mother's side in Chicago, I'm Roshonda. So when I came to Chicago, and for the week, I would be Roshonda. Hey, what's up, y'all? What y'all talking about, right? But when I went to Round Lake on the weekend, I was Shannon, and how are you guys doing today? And no, I'm not going to be able to hang out with you guys this weekend because my dad is actually. So I was able to do that. I was able to code switch. And now my elders are calling me to talk to people about their bills because they don't want to talk to people on the phone. Here, you talk white people. You go talk to them for me and get this situated. So it was kind of putting me in the middle of that. But my kids, they never learned how to code switch because they weren't from Chicago. So they got teased by my nieces and nephews for being white, acting white, dressed in white. Y'all not black, right? So it was kind of battle there because it's like, why they think we white, right? Why they say we talk white? Because we speak proper English. So it was kind of a difficult thing with my kids. So there is a code switching for my generation. We know how to do it, but my kids didn't because they weren't from Chicago. They didn't catch the bus throughout the city when they was 3, right? If my kids get off the metro train, they probably don't even know how to get to my mother's house unless they do an Uber. You know what I mean? Like, they could not function in the city because they don't have that gutter in them, right? For me, I'm a chameleon. I can operate in any setting, but they couldn't. So when I tried to get them, my 2 older daughters, to go away to college, to go to an HBCU, they would not. They were totally against it because they was like, we're not going to fit in at a HBCU. And that was the hardest thing for me to understand. They felt like they wouldn't fit in at an HBCU. So that was just my 2 cents.
Thank you so much for your call. Very insightful.
Yeah, they would have fit in at Xavier though.
So I feel like the part of one of the experiences associated with being black in America is code switching.
And she used the right word. She said she was a chameleon.
Yes.
Yes, she did say that.
Chameleons are able to blend in with the environment. So that leads into what I was going to talk about not being able to blend in.
Go ahead, Ron.
Like with the dreads. So that was
locks, Ron. We have locks.
We have locks. That was one of my reasons for starting my lock journey. It's like I was tired of the chameleon at,
What do you mean, like in terms of like cutting your hair?
Like cutting my hair. Every time I had to do an interview, because I grow my hair out, I like froze. I got curly hair, so I like to put my hair in froze. But every time I would have a job interview or something coming up,
I would
cut my hair.
Interesting. All right.
It's like I know they don't want to see no black man with this wild hair. They definitely not gonna hire me.
But to switch to locks though,
I stopped caring. So I watched this Bob Marley documentary. It was like a 2-hour documentary, and he was talking about locks and what they really meant to him. It was like not having to be a chameleon and not having to fit in order to survive. Like he was saying, I think code switching is necessary to survive. It's not.
You don't think so?
Look at Maze.
He know how to code switch,
but he's at a point now where he don't really have to if he don't want to.
But see, I think the difference is that he learned how to, and if you don't learn how to, then you kind of get locked out of a certain level of society.
But what if we start teaching children earlier that you don't have to, instead of teaching them that you have to? You got to learn to relearn, because it's like telling somebody you have to learn and to relearn.
I'm with you.
Instead of just teaching them the right way from the jump.
But think about this: how do a lot of us learn about code switching? It's not because somebody set us down and talked to us about code switching.
We experienced it.
We experienced discomfort being ourselves, right?
But if we were taught from early ages
to what?
To not feel a certain way and not be uncomfortable about yourself.
To love ourselves?
To love ourselves.
Come on, Ron. Come on, Ron.
You know,
All right.
like little girls, I think Two touched on this on his show. Like, y'all teach them, like, you know, don't go outside with your hair a certain way or put it in a ponytail or press it or perm it and stuff like that.
No, you teach them don't go outside with a bandana on your head.
So we're going to talk about respectability politics because I think that teeters into respectability politics, Todd.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
I was going to ask you what that means.
Don't worry. I'll Google it. Let's take another call. Okay. Caller, you win a gift basket courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. Who we got on the line? Caller.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes, it is. What's up?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, good morning. This is Ready Rock. What's up?
What up, Ready Rock? You win a basket.
Thank you. Thank you so much, President Carrie K. Steele.
Hey, Ready,
Happy holidays, everybody.
Ready Rock, I see you in the comments. Give us your perspective, sis.
Oh, so I just want to lay the foundation really quickly. So all of this, to your questions that you've been asking, yes, code switching is trying to make non-black people comfortable. It's all rooted in respectability politics. And so the reason that I say this, and a lot of things that I take issue with how people are saying black people treated them without acknowledging that they did change. So I grew up in Rockwell Gardens, 40 strong. I went to a Catholic elementary school that was predominantly black. My high school, and it was Our Lady of the West Side. I attended Providence St. Mel, another predominantly black private institution. So I was surrounded by black excellence all of my entire life. In elementary school, we used to have to recite poems and speeches by black individuals. So that is why we were able to be effective in our oratory skills. So we were always taught to love ourselves. So the issue is that we are putting our children in these spaces with the assumption that they need to be in non-black spaces in order to thrive. I often get, even especially when I went to college, oh, you're from the projects? Yes, I am from the projects. What are people from the projects like? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm one of those folks. I stand on that because I wasn't the kid that couldn't go outside. I was the kid that was running up and down in the hallways, turning off the lights, playing on the elevator. So I had the full experience. I'm the fullness of blackness, and I am not embarrassed by that. I am not ashamed by that. I know for a fact that that made me stronger and allowed me to be effective in these spaces where I see so many people who did not come from where I came from, and they're uncomfortable in their blackness because they're trying to be so close and assimilate into the proximity of whiteness. And when I'm there, I'm still me, and they still respect and value me because they have no choice but to. So we have to be honest in how we carried ourselves. The reason that I didn't get called white when I was growing up, they knew I went to private school. Everybody else in my building that I grew up with, they went to the local public school. But we all still played together. It was in the way that I carried myself and interacted with them. I didn't ever feel that I was different. I tell people often, I didn't even realize that I was poor until I went to high school. And it wasn't that I felt less than, even still. You can ask people about me in high school. I wasn't like, I was a cool, popular person. So when I was in high school, I just saw that there were other black people that had access to material things, like people were driving cars as teenagers and things of that nature. So those were the things that I noticed. But the reality of that is that none of that mattered because we were all there based on our intelligence. So I was getting great grades. I was on the honor roll. I was getting my McDonald's stock. So I didn't see myself as different, or I didn't see myself as less than, because my value was not in the material possessions that they had, but in my intelligence and my ability to do well in what I was supposed to be doing at that moment. So in my college years, I went to a PWI. And recently, I've been realizing that I have suppressed a lot of those moments, because if children are going through that in elementary, people need to get their children therapy. Because I was in a PWI and I was the only black girl in my class level. I'm an aviation major. Do you know I was in class and my teacher wouldn't call on me for attendance? Imagine not being called for attendance every day, because I see the black girl here. So I just want to leave it there, so much that I can say about this, but I just wanted to put out there a different perspective, especially how we see one another and how they may respond to us, that we got to take some responsibility in how we may be coming off or acting towards them, because we have been conditioned that the closer that we are to whiteness, that we're somehow better or different black. So thank y'all.
All right. Thank you so much for that call, Ready Rock. So I just want to read a couple comments. Nicole Rogers said, my ex-boyfriend gave me the best advice ever. He said, go into the spaces as your authentic self, and you will never feel the need to code switch. Be confident with who you are, and don't be switching it up. So with that, we're going to take a break, because Todd said we got to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about respectability politics. Book of Dawn.
Chris the Critic Relationship Hour with Gina B. Why you are not married. Number one, you ain't all that. I know that's hard for y'all to swallow. I don't look as good as my 22-year-old self. People need to realize that. You just ain't all that. And I get it. I got this master's degree. I went to this school, that school. I worked hard for this job, for this house. And then she over there got that man, and you don't have one. Men are very simple creatures. So, ladies, for you very accomplished ladies, I got some advice for them.
What's that?
I always say it like this. You can write this one down. Be a kitten, not a cat. What does that mean, Chris?
What does that mean?
You ever played with a kitten? It's real friendly. It almost acts like a puppy. And you want to play with it. You want to come look at the little kitty. It just makes you feel good. Now, have you ever seen an adult cat? When it feels like it, it might rub against your leg and move away. But is that men like kittens?
Kittens will play with anybody. A cat is particular.
Listen, what did we learn? Men are very simple creatures.
Right.
You can fool us. We want you to laugh at our dumb jokes. So all you super smart women out there, you good looking women, you see a guy you like, you guys do make it out on a date. He actually pays for the date. When you're actually with that person, the dialogue is happening, the dinner is happening. You say, okay, this might work, this might work. It would help if you act a little blind.
Oh my God, Becky.
You're going to hear me say that a lot. Be nice to
So
him. You hear the worst joke ever, but if you sort of like them, laugh at it. There you go. Hey, it's a lot of married women out there. If we got any married women chiming in,
Look, maybe
if I'm telling a lie,
that one's a fake laugh.
Let me know.
What you're saying is that we should cater to the male ego, and that's what's ultimately going to get us married.
I'm first saying recognize that I think some of us, more women than men, look in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
You ever seen a little lion look in the mirror and see somebody real big? They see somebody a little more fine than what they are. And I'm not calling anybody ugly, so I'm not here to bash anybody.
Let's look at Middle America, okay? Middle America is not attractive.
They're not?
Middle America is largely married.
Okay, I think we're on the same page there. People sort of, we get stuck to reality shows sometime and think we're supposed to have, I got a degree in a house, so I'm supposed to have Idris Elba or his twin.
Well, I mean, have you noticed, okay, so you remember your friends from high school, right? And you remember how they had all of these qualifications for, if she's going to lock me down, she got to be this, that. She's got to have an ass like that.
That's all we really looked at. Stop right there. You had me at. That's really, what are men? Simple creatures. We want to be fed. We want you to laugh at us, give us some, and that's it. To get us.
WIFTBPM.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
Where my steppers at? Baby, like the tree, I will be all that you need. Unwrap you underneath the mistletoe. We can sip some wine, kiss you from head to toe. Baby, don't you ever let me go. I want you to know it's alright. Wishing you'd be my boo. Can you please be my prince? Around me, wishing please can you
shout out to Hollywood Ricky Hendon for keeping the Christmas
Is that your
jams
theme
alive.
song now, Ruthie?
You know what? It's so catchy. I really wanted it to really go all the way to the part where it's like, we want the gifts, but I know we got stuff to talk about. We got stuff to talk about. So before we jump back into our conversation that we're going to shift to respectability politics, let's finish taking these calls. We got 3 more gift baskets to give away. Caller, you have won a gift basket courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. What's up, caller? How you doing? What up?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Lawanza Quince. Good to see everybody and talk to them. Hey, I have 2 questions for the Honorable Mr. Stroger and Ron. And the first one goes out to the Honorable Stroger. You know, Mr. Stroger, you presided over the largest county in the country, Cook County. This question is intergenerational, but with a twist. And you said that you went to the Catholic school. My question to you is this. Have you noticed some relationship between the Archdiocese of Chicago, the largest archdiocese in the country, and their work with local governments in and around Chicago, as well as the big business community in pulling people who worship in that same religion, who are Catholic, bringing in people from Middle America and South America, but however, black people, and displacing black people from jobs, those same jobs, who are Methodist Baptists, African Episcopalian. I'm saying that because I guess we are technicians and a chemist in chemistry and chemical engineering in manufacturing companies through the 80s and the 90s, and I've seen that change. So that's my question to you. And the last one, and Ron, I can feel where you're coming from, bro. Mama lived in all-white community in Rogers Park back in the 70s. Daddy lived on the west side. So I had to interchange between the two. Can you imagine that? I didn't see black people in my community in Rogers Park. I might see one black person every 6 months. There may have been 10 blacks in my entire high school. However, how I did get some exposure to other groups of people was we moved into South Shore, and I had a friend next door named Paul Lewandowski, who became my best friend. He was white. But I went to Bradwell Elementary, then went to South Shore where there were no whites at all, only blacks. However, that exposure that I had in upper grade school kind of prepared me to be able to deal with people in all white government. So I didn't have much of a problem with transition.
All right. Thank you so much, Lawanza Quince, for your call.
Yeah, that was a little shaky.
We got a little static in. He had a question for you, Honorable Mr. Todd Stroger.
Well, they're definitely. When I was at the county, and probably the last year, when I was a little more snippety, I said that the Irish guys were controlling everything. They were head of all of the major unions. That'd be like carpenters, plumbers, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They were the big guys in the investment fields, so they were the head of the investment banks that dealt mostly with government. And I was like, so their kids and their nephews and nieces and all those other Irish people, they get a leg up because they're like, hey, I want to go see something. And they're like, oh, yeah, go see him. I know him from this association, some kind of Irish association. Mm-hmm. And so they did an article, and the young Irish guys were like, yeah, it's a little easier when you go in the door and they know somebody that you know.
Okay.
The old Irish person they asked, she was like, oh, no, I got everything on my own. But that's not how the world works. But that actually brings me to something that I wanted to mention. Mm-hmm. That's why we do have to be everywhere. So
what you mean by everywhere?
So I went to University of Wisconsin. I loved it. There weren't a whole bunch of us, as Mr. Higginbottom said. Mm-hmm. There was almost the same amount of people when he went, 30 years before me. So there weren't a lot of us. So we need to be in those spaces so we can meet people outside of our realm because we all want to feed our children, all that stuff. There's money everywhere. So you want to network. This is all about networking. They don't have to be your best friend, but you want them to at least see you as a regular human being that they can do business with.
All right. So we got 2 more callers that's been holding on.
Wait,
now,
Ron. Oh, he didn't have a question really for you, did he?
yeah, it wasn't really a question, but I want to honor these callers because we know we had a little static on the line, so we at least want to try to get these last 3 gift baskets won. So, caller, do you want a gift basket? What up, caller?
Hey, it's me. Hey, Ruthie, it's Carlos. This is Ruthie's brother.
Yo, what up?
I'm calling to talk about code switching, especially in my industry, which is the cheer and choreography dance world. I think the biggest thing is, like, to get to the top where I've gotten to, you have to code switch. But I know this year, where all the things were happening with, like, just like the police brutality against black people, I took it to initiative to say, hey, I'm no longer coaching at any white institution. I am now going to be at Thornton High School and this gym on the south side called Technique Gyms, only because every gym I've been to, I ever coached at, has been predominantly white, like 95% white. And they kind of use me being a black man, because I am good at the sport, but they also see me as a 6'3", 200-pound black man as like kind of a fear tactic to get the kids the way I need them to be.
All right, thank you for your call. We got a lot of static on the line.
Got a lot of static going
and
on
I just want to be mindful that is a very annoying sound.
It's hard to pick up the
So you
sound.
want to just give these baskets away?
No, listen, we have 2 more left. We have Ready Rock. We have the caller that just left the phone number. We got Shannon. We got Carlos. And actually, we could give one to Lawanzer. I don't know. I saw him in the comments. Let me know if you want one. And then these last 2 gift bags, guess how we about to give them out.
Got 2 more hours.
But we do got 2 hours, but we're going to give out the last ones via social media. So we just got to figure out a way.
Oh.
See, you like that? See, I know how to pivot, Todd. Don't do me. Don't do it.
No, I was thinking, oh, you really smart.
All right. So thank y'all to all the callers. And, you know, one thing that I feel really passionate about just working with young people is just the psychology that America has on us. And I know that if young people are experiencing these things, adults are experiencing them, and how are we processing through these things? And so if you don't have the
Ruthie,
language.
I've been thinking about this.
What you got?
And lately my thought is the problem with people who aren't in the middle class or above tend to have a sense of hopelessness. It's like, I can't get past where I am, so why would I even try? And when you don't try, you don't go anywhere. Now, Ron said, you know, he grew up in some tough times, and then, you know, things got better. But he could have just said, well, I know the tough times, let me just stay in those. But no, he was like, shoot, I'm going to do my thing.
Nah, just because I knew there was better out there. But it's some people in those environments that don't know there's better out there. Like, I have cousins and stuff that's haven't been downtown. Like, they don't leave the hood.
Right.
Ooh.
Was it? For the lack of knowledge.
You will perish.
Yes.
All right, Lawanza say he want his gift basket. Bam. So we just got actually 1 more left. I believe we're going to give it out a little bit later on social. So thank y'all for y'all perspectives. And we want to shift the conversation into respectability politics.
Yeah, you're going to have to give me a definition. Yeah.
All right. So one of my favorite sources, I'm just playing. So I just looked on Wikipedia real quick to get a rough definition, right? So we are talking about respectability politics to mean within the context of black respectability politics. The term politics of respectability was first used in the context of black women and their efforts to distance themselves from the stereotypical and disrespected aspects of their communities. Respectability politics continues to influence the behavior of racially marginalized individuals because they seek to gain status and rights by adhering to hegemonic standards of what it means to be respectable. Last sentence. Black individuals practicing respectability politics are stereotyped as being most concerned with laziness, intellectual inferiority, violence, and immorality. So what y'all think about that? Respectability politics. If only y'all would dress better.
Somebody need to make a word up. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's deep, but it's like.
Like, what do you think about that? What do you think about the idea? Because you talked a little bit about locks, right? And I brought up respectability politics. Is it an idea that if we looked and acted more like white people, then we'll be better off?
See,
that's
Todd.
I'm a middle class person.
Todd is going to interject and he's going to say that we're not acting like white people. We're just being formal, or you know.
He's right. See, that's why I like you.
Okay. So wait. Why did you think Todd was gonna say that? And then Todd, why did you agree with him?
Well, he said it earlier. He was like, if you don't believe in code switching, then you don't. If you don't believe in code switching, then you don't believe, in respectability. What you call it?
Respectability politics.
You think you that either? Really?
Yeah. Look,
okay. Or you do.
When I go to a formal dinner, you know what I wear?
What you wear?
A tuxedo, because that's what you do at formal dinners. So I may not like the way young people dress,
but you'll do it to gain status.
No, I don't like the way young people dress with saggy pants and stuff. But that's their thing. Let them do it. But when they go to work, there's a work code. That's the way you're supposed to dress. I don't care what race you are, where you come from.
See, but
we're all the human race.
With that work code though, they exclude people. Like before last year, it was legal to not hire people with dreads, with locks.
Locks, Ron.
With locks. They just passed a law last year that you cannot, discriminate against locks. So even rules in the workplace are.
Oh yeah, no. What they did was they never should have been able to say you can't work here because I don't like the way your hair looks.
But they did.
But that goes back to respect.
But they did though, Todd.
It does have something to do with respect. I agree with Ron.
Hold on, Todd. Hold on. Let me push back.
They don't respect us, so they're not going to respect certain things.
Todd, hold on. No. Go ahead. Todd, as a black woman who's with hair, you're telling me.
Hey, I used to have hair.
Wait, hold on, Todd. If I wear my hair naturally in corporate America, are you saying that there's something that is not respectable about the way that my natural hair grows out of my head?
No, I didn't say
that's
that.
What they say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
But if you co-signing that, ain't you adhering to respectability politics?
I didn't say I was co-signing it either.
He's just acknowledging it.
No, but Todd, you said that there is a workplace standard.
Wait a minute, did we grow up together or something?
I just know because this is a huge point of contention for me. Because if you say that, well, there is a code that you need to follow in the workplace.
Oh no, there is a business code. And such.
But why is my hair as a black woman
I don't think
a part
your
of
hair
that?
should be a part of that. I think that white people look at certain parts of the way people dress who aren't white, and they're going to say, well, that's not going to fit, and then they're going to say
dress, but your hair. Them looking at you and saying, well, that hair's not going to fit. That's
well, like I tell you all the time,
crazy.
Everything's a circle. This is not the first time this has come around. When in the 60s, when people wore a natural, they're like, oh, black naturals, black militant. Oh, can't work here.
All right. On that note, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back to the Book of Dawn with Ruthie, Todd, and Lil Ron Rilla. We're going to keep talking about respectability politics and why Todd is wrong.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us. However, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Last remember
you'll never regret.
Welcome back to the Book of Dawn. I am your host, Ruthie. Got Todd, Stroger, Ron, Rilla, a.k.a. Lil Ron, a.k.a. Nephew in the building. And we are having an intergenerational conversation. And right before we went on break, we started talking about respectability politics and what that means in the context of American society. Okay, we really did. We talked about some of the psychological effects that code switching has on young people and adults. And so I would like to read some of these comments. Thank y'all so much for commenting. John Cooper, thank you so much for the stars. Shout out to you. And so before I read any comments, I got a question for you, Todd. This is a personal question, okay? Do you think that locks are an acceptable hairstyle for corporate America?
My answer was going to be boxers, but
like
but
locks.
you switched the question.
Locks.
You know, do I think it's acceptable?
Yeah.
Sure. I, to be honest with you, I really don't care what you do with their hair. You know, the first time I saw somebody with green hair was about 1986. And they were in the bank. They were a bank teller. And I was thinking, how did he get a job?
Okay. So you said something on break, Todd. You said, well, y'all don't really understand all we had to go through to get here. So I want you to speak more about that. Because you're right. Like, I don't really know what it feels like to,
I mean, besides studying it.
Yeah, but I mean, I can read all the history books in the world, but I didn't experience it. So can you talk about what you mean when you say, like, we went through a lot to get here?
Yeah, I mean, I just say that in the sense that you do have to study and read because the world wasn't always like this. You know, when I was a kid, there was a lot of places I knew I wasn't going. And if I did go, I'd be chased right back across the street. So, we still lived like the white people who lived 2 doors away from us. We were all little kids, but we go in the alley. They throw rocks at us. We throw rocks back. But there were neighborhoods you knew you weren't going into.
But y'all was having race fights, basically.
Yeah, really. And this is like, the late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
But as time went on, more neighborhoods opened up. You could go pretty much anywhere you wanted. Maybe you weren't always welcome. Like the bus driver would tell you, they would drive the Halsted bus and they go through Bridgeport, the black bus driver. Mm-hmm. And people would throw rocks at him, probably kids, because kids tend to do things like that. Throw rocks at the bus driver, even as he was just driving through the neighborhood, because, black people weren't supposed to be over there. So we've accomplished a ton of stuff with people's foot on our neck. Mm-hmm. Like we say, Rome wasn't built in a day. Man, You're not going to change white people's views. Their parents were telling them that we weren't real people, and they used the N-word when they talked about us. White people talk about that to this day. How that was just their neighborhood, and their parents, and people love their parents.
But that's the reason. That's the reason why I feel like we should stop teaching that code switching is necessary. Because, like you said, like we've accomplished a lot even with foots on our necks. So us knowing that we can teach the younger generation, like, yo,
more pride.
Yeah, but
racial pride.
But what are we doing? What is that? What are we talking about, and how are we talking? Mm-hmm. How are we speaking?
I mean, especially now with this COVID thing going on, a lot of people in our young generation, millennials, are learning to make money on their own independently. So we learned that we don't really need to be integrated into the system to be successful.
I agree with you, Ron, and I will take it a step further that I feel pretty secure with taking my blackness into other places and being black and then contributing to that.
You need me. We know.
Well, let me be honest with you, Ruthie. As soon as you go to a place, you know what happens?
What?
Everybody know you black.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that.
You don't have to open up your mouth.
But you know what? Okay, so it's kind of like if you go to a PWI, predominantly white institution, oftentimes you find yourself speaking in the class for all the other black people.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of sometimes how that works, right?
Well, Mays talks about that. He became the spokesman for black people at Bolingbrook when he was in grammar school.
Okay.
And he was uncomfortable with it.
He was uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why shouldn't he be? He was pointed out, something happened with black people today. What was that about? All
right. So this is my $1 million question to you, and I'm about to oversimplify this, okay, Todd? But knowing how white people felt about y'all and treated y'all, why was integration necessary? Like, why would you want to eat with people that don't want to eat with you?
No, it's not that. You want to eat at the place. You don't care about the
But
other
why?
table.
Why would I want to eat at the place with people who don't like me?
For one thing, Maze talks about how we had things in our own black neighborhood, and we did.
Mm-hmm.
My mother grew up on the low end. She's like, boy, I grew up in a great neighborhood. They had everything from heroin addicts to kings, the way she talks. But there's a bigger world. Why would you want to be stuck between 51st Street and 26th Street?
Why do we have to be stuck, though? Why do you have to feel stuck?
That's what segregation was. That was our neighborhood. You couldn't live anywhere but those streets.
Okay.
See, I'm gonna get revolutionary. I'm trying not
Speaking
to
the mic, my brother.
I'm trying not to get too revolutionary because I
That's
honestly,
right. I've been all kinds.
I honestly don't feel like integrating was a bad thing. I feel like
it was a horrible idea.
I feel like it was a bad idea to integrate in the first place.
But what am I missing though, Todd? Like why? Like
it's not about necessarily integration. It's more about freedom. The freedom to move anywhere you want. The freedom to go anywhere you want. The freedom to eat anything you want.
Okay. So it was about the ability to do it versus wanting to do it.
Well, also, you have to think in business. So if I start a business, so I was an investment banker. So my boss grew up like, I don't know, 109th and off of Halsted or something, right? Now, he could make money, doing little stuff, but if he really wanted to be in the business, he had to talk to white people in white institutions and get money from them. Now, you know what they did? They tried to keep him out as much as possible. They didn't want to give up any bit of business. So since we did a lot of businesses with cities, the greatest thing that happened for us was there were all these black mayors at some point. The black mayor would make sure that the black business got a piece of the city business. So we couldn't grow without more business.
So it's about money.
Right. So
in the end,
basically
it's always
about money.
And aspiration. So you came from a place where you had aspiration. Now think about the people in these neighborhoods who didn't have the ability to even get inspired. You know what I'm saying?
I always say you have to know something.
You got to know better.
Know how to get
like you
there.
said, you got and
or tried to get there.
You got to know better in order to do that.
Yeah.
But the people who don't know better, you know what I'm saying? Or
how do we change that?
Okay, hold on, Todd.
Well, I was asking Ryan because he was closer to the ground.
I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I guess I still okay, so I still don't really necessarily I don't get it. Like maybe it's something that I'm missing. Like is it a book I can read or a perspective somebody can give me? But it seems like it seems so stupid to me to be around people that don't want to be around you. Like, it just seems so crazy. And I was thinking, like, what if we just took that energy and actually built up our own stuff? But you saying, Todd, like, that there's a larger world and that we didn't have access
most
to
definitely.
Based on capital, right?
Well, not
it's
just
about
capital.
money.
No, it's not all about money. It's all about, also about it's like the kid who got stoned at 31st Street. If you went too far, they try to kill you.
So it was about violence prevention?
Well, no. I mean, one of the things that kept us from going places is we knew that they were so violent that you could end up lynched.
So why would we want to still go to their spaces?
Well, you know what? If I want to eat at the Columbus Park and look at the lake, why shouldn't I be able to?
So just like personal freedoms.
It's all about freedoms. That's right.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Now.
See, if you couldn't go there, then you'd be upset.
But I feel like I would have my own.
No. If you
Why?
If you could only go from 26th Street to 51st Street,
I feel you.
You'd be like, why can't I go? Why can't I go over to Rogers Park?
What if you wanted to go to the lake? The lake is you can't go to the lake on every part of the
But
city.
if I had my own, why would I need to go to theirs?
We don't have. There's only one lake. There's only one Lake Michigan. What if the white people said y'all can't come to Lake Michigan? You gonna be like, okay,
they did.
I'm cool with that.
They did though.
But you can't go past this part.
Would you want us to stay cool with that?
I feel like if I'm not wanted somewhere, I likely won't go. I'm going to Like maybe, okay, so I said maybe I'm just missing something. So it's about personal
Ruthie,
freedoms.
You were gonna go and you're gonna say
Listen,
they're gonna be
them type of
uncomfortable.
people- I want
but
them
that's
type of
their
people.
problem.
Even if I don't want to go there, I still don't want you to tell me I can't go there.
Right.
I won't go.
Okay.
Shit. Even if I could go, I won't go there. But I still want to know that I can.
That's right.
Okay, so it is psychological.
Yeah,
I guess so.
But why? But I don't understand what made theirs so much better than.
It doesn't have
because
to be
that's
better.
because that's a system we live in their system.
Yeah, but actually, it doesn't have to be better. But they do happen to have more money. So
Again, here we go. We back to
they're
capital.
You're able to do things.
That's America, though.
Right.
It revolves around capital.
It's the world, actually. It's not just America.
Yeah.
There's poor people all over the world.
So we sacrificed our cultural. Basically, we sacrificed ourselves to try to get the white man's money.
I don't want to say we. Let's blame it on like the baby boomers or something.
Everybody wants to blame the boomers.
I don't want to say we.
Y'all funny. All right, we got a break. And when we come back from break, we're going to read some more of these comments. Book of Dawn, Ruthie, Todd, Ron Rilla, Lil Ron, holding it down, Flo, in the dough. All right, we will be right back.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like me said. Remy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we about 60 years old. I be done had a heart attack.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't. You don't like that? Yeah. I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right. Well, every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
About National Join a Positive Black Organization Day, because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
We call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Todd Stroger here at What's in It for the Black People Media. We would like to wish you and your family a very happy, safe holiday season.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You were there for me to love and care for me when skies were gray. Whenever I was down, you were always there to comfort me. And no one else could be what you have been to me. You'll always be, you will always be the girl in my life for all time. Mama, you know I love you. You know I love you, yeah. Ooh, you know I love you, Mama. You're the queen of my heart. You're the queen of my heart. Your love is like food from the stars.
Welcome back to the Book of Dawn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ruthie Moore, Ron Rilla, Todd, Stroger. So I want to read some of these comments to glean some different perspectives from our wonderful audience. So somebody said, okay, Milton said, once again, the Jedi mind trick. We all know that black folk, we all know that black folk eat like anybody else and with fine dining and shopping malls, but they don't build them in our neighborhoods. Why? That's because they want us to shop in their neighborhoods and leave our tax dollars and have our ASSs out before the sun come down. All right. So Benita said we pay taxes for the entire city. Why should we be restricted to where we go? Todd might agree with that one. And T said, I feel like Ruthie is oversimplifying the concept of integration. Yes, I absolutely am. I start off the conversation by saying this is my oversimplified perspective of this. And I was curious what Todd thought. Robin Patrice said, that's two B's, y'all. We have a lot. We have to look at it from a national perspective. 70% of whites live in non-metropolitan areas. Us living in the city makes them believe that we are better than them and we are just in the city struggling. We just make the struggle look better. A lot of whites haven't completed high school, haven't traveled outside of the caves.
Nope.
And Alvin said, integration. We want it to be validated by white people. What you think about that, Todd?
Oh, no, that's simplicity.
I don't want it to be validated.
No. What I want to do is I want to be able to go on Hubbard and go in a restaurant, get what I get, not have anybody do anything to it, not get seated in the black area. I mean,
that is so wild. Why? Why would you want to be there?
Because you can't let them get away with that. Because you know what happens once you let them get away with that? They're like, well, shoot.
They still gonna treat you a certain way. Like, just because you over there, you don't think they still put something in your food just because they let you come over there? You don't think they still look at you a certain way when you come to their
or they gonna spit in your food? Like,
if you do not make the effort to force them to do certain things, they will never be comfortable with just you.
So that was the strategy, right? But I think within that strategy, it messed us up psychologically to think that it's something inherently wrong with us that we got to go to them.
Oh no, there's a ton of other factors for that.
Give me some.
I can think of a ton of them. One thing, public housing did not start out this way. I may have said this before in some other time. Public housing started out where you moved into public housing, you became a part of the public housing itself. So, when they first started with what we call now, I guess, mid-levels, is it?
Okay.
Three stories or less. You were part of the community. You had a job. Your family, Ruthie's family, would have a job to clean up on Mondays or something like that, clean up the common area or something.
Okay.
The person who took care of the building lived there. Families could live there. They made different rules. They changed the rules all of a sudden, like, well, having a man here means that you're going to make too much money or something. So they forcibly, I say, broke up families and made them single households, women single households, because you couldn't have a man. You need to see the movie Claudine. That really.
I'm familiar with what you're talking about. So you point to that as part of the destruction of the black family?
I do.
Absolutely. What you think about that, Ron?
It's one of the most. It's like one of the top three.
Top three reasons why our families kind of are in disarray?
Yeah.
Ooh, that was heavy. Okay. So Lori said underlying integration was a sense that we were denied resources or access. It was never about proximity to white people.
It's all about resources. That's right. I mean, the reason, why the white conquerors love to conquer places?
Why?
So they can steal your resources.
Resources that was there.
Yeah, and take them back to their home.
But ain't that the same with integration, though? Like, I'll give you an example. When they integrated baseball, I think that was the craziest thing ever when we let the Negro Leagues go.
I mean, but I think that's the point Todd trying to make now. Like, we want their resources too. We want to have access to those resources.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but do you think
we want those resources?
Right. And if you think that there was a Negro League, do you think that I don't know baseball as well as I used to. So you think LeBron James though could be making $35 million a year?
Yes, because we got the talent, Todd.
No, he wouldn't because the group would be small. See, now he's able to speak to everybody gets to see.
Do you see that just this year, the MLB recognized the Negro League people as MLB players?
Yeah, I
just this year in 2020.
Yeah,
that is a problem. So my issue with integration is it makes it seem like that is something wrong with us and our business and the way we function. But I hear you, Todd, when you say, well, it's about access to the larger pool of resources. But at some point, when did we start selling out our culture for money and capital?
We haven't. I mean, look at you and
from the beginning.
And Ron, you guys got hairstyles that I never put on, but you got.
But you know why I have this hairstyle though.
You are making it through the world.
You know why I have this hairstyle? It's the same reason why the natural hair care industry is booming, and it ain't black people that's making all the money because they recognize that it's money to be made. So my thing is let's think about the beauty industry, right? How they discriminated against black people hair for so long. What if we said, you know what? We are going to insulate our business within this, and we gonna make all the money from the hair care industry.
Well, we did it at one point, but that was because we were.
It was what,
like,
but wasn't it about black is beautiful? Didn't it go along with the concept and cultural pride of black is beautiful though?
Yeah, and Chicago was like a real hair care
But
place.
I'm saying, do you see that?
But they sold themselves to all the big companies.
They sold themselves, and they sold our culture right with it.
Yeah, but they became millionaires. It's kind of you can't stop.
They became millionaires.
You can't stop capitalism.
So it's about
it goes back to
money and capitalism.
It always goes back to money.
Jeezy Pete's. Yeah. Okay, so
but that's what the nation was built on.
Capitalism, right? Actually, we built the nation.
And it's not this. Every nation is all about money. It's just how it's done. So you know how communists like to always say that everybody's not equal in communism.
Todd, what's your definition of a communist?
Well, there's
like, what do you think when you just
two
hear
different
communist?
There's two different big communists. There's the Chinese, and then there's the Russian part. Okay, but the Russians are kind of dropping that, and they're becoming more. I call it more of like a. It's supposed to be a democracy. They have a election, but Putin's never losing until he says I lost. And that's not happening.
So what was it when black people used to get labeled as communists?
Because they were
back in the day. Like, what was they talking about?
Well, they realized that America sucked. They weren't doing the thing for black people except lynching us. So they went to a place that said that everybody is the same. But in reality, communism doesn't work out the way you want because in every structure, there's going to be people at the top, there's going to be people at the middle, and there's going to be people at the bottom.
Politics is usual.
So, but when the black people went over there, they treated them well because they were like, well, since America's not treating you well, we'll treat you well.
Okay, so you saying some groups of black people got together and said...
I'm saying that black people, well, there probably were some groups that I wouldn't know about, but black people who were famous and had the ability to leave and still, do well, left. Like, I think Paul Robeson went over, but there's some other people.
Okay. So integration, code switching seem to be ways to escape poverty.
Yes.
That's kind of what we concluded, right?
No, that's what you concluded. I would never use those terms.
All right. So what do you think? It was to see our humanity? But we keep coming back to economics, though, Todd.
Because the way you talk about it, it's like...
Y'all want to say evil white people?
No, it's like we are only going into the white society. Man, black people have influenced the white society like nobody's business, good and bad.
So wait, you think integration and all that works both ways, huh?
It does. It's a two-way street.
Ooh, Todd, no. I shouldn't say, ooh, Todd, no.
Yeah, so they're not learning from us. They're stealing from us.
So one thing this person told me, is one of my Asian friends. She said the reason why black people can't, we have a hard time in America is because we have not figured out how to sell our culture back to Americans. Mm-hmm. And part of it is that we are the culture. They take it, they bottle it up,
them sell it to
and
us.
they sell it back to us.
No. We have figured out that we can sell it. You know what we don't have?
What?
Ron?
Money.
Thank you.
So wait, say that again. Say more about that, Todd. What you mean by that?
So So I watched the Bee Gees documentary the other day.
Okay.
The Bee Gees are one of the top 5 greatest selling artists of all time, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is they did so well during that short window of disco. Like their Saturday Night Fever album was huge. And then, so it was the top album. They would have 3 songs in the top 10 at one time. Then they released another album, and that album had top songs. So all until disco died, they did great. But those are really just dance songs, that black people were doing before, that dance. But since they were white people looked at them differently, heard them differently, and would respect them in a different way. So they had a greater audience, and they made a ton of money. So that's happened to us in all different type of, especially when it comes to entertainment. So they not only get white people to listen, where some white people are like, I ain't never listening to a black artist, but if a white person does it, it may gain a bigger audience. So we do a ton of things that they take, but either because we don't have the money to market it ourselves, or it's just regular old racism and they don't want to hear us, we don't do well. Well, I wouldn't say we don't do well. We don't do multi-million.
Okay. So
because the Isley Brothers and all those guys, they did well, but they did well mostly in the black market.
Black market meaning black people, or like underground market?
No, black people. Not that black. I meant black people.
So that is very interesting. But so what about like Elvis stealing Hound Dog?
Yeah, white people whiting.
But I'm saying though,
and you got to remember that's the 50s, so it was easy for them to do it because all the laws and all the people who were in power would be like, okay, you can go ahead and do that. We ain't gonna say nothing.
Okay. So I want to read another comment, and then we're gonna go to break, and then we're gonna talk solutions.
Okay, bet.
Right? Because we always talk, let's get some solutions going. So this last comment I want to read is from Lauren. I think integration was a mistake. Black people wanted to feel validation and was mad that the white people rejected them.
Preach.
So, what you think about
Preach. Preach.
Okay, so also, Ready Rock said, we still can't go to Mount Greenwood, though. Make it make sense.
We sure can. I don't want to go.
But Todd, that's the point I'm saying. Like,
I want to go there, huh?
Actually, it don't work both ways.
I've been to Mount Greenwood. My niece went to Mother McCauley, so I
passed
picked her
through.
up. But I still didn't want to go. I was like, I still felt the pains of not being able to go over there before, and I don't want to go over there, but I did. Okay,
all right. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk solutions, and we got another gift bag to give away. We're going to give it away via social. Filling in for the Book of Dawn, you got Ruthie, Todd, and Ron, Rilla, and Flo. So we will be right back.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
Oh, baby. I mean, I know that you're here with me and everything, but since you just left a few hours ago, I've just been going crazy. And I done come to realize one thing. Oh, baby, I miss you.
'cause it just keeps on calling me. And I just need a hit of your love. It's got me shaking and feeling for your touch. Baby, of you I can't get enough. It feels like I done OD'd on you, babe. I'm addicted for you. Can't stop loving 'cause I can't get enough of you, babe. 'Cause I'm so addicted to you.
Welcome back to the Book of Dawn with Todd, Stroger, Ruthie Moore. We are having an intergenerational conversation about where do we go wrong with segregation and integration and respectability politics. But for this last hour, y'all, we want to talk about solutions. Because I be feeling like sometimes we be beating a dead horse. But I think intergenerationally, let's come up with some solutions.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about Todd? You like, I ain't got no hope. What you think, Todd?
Well, no, there's always hope. Without hope, then everybody just falls apart.
You perish, right?
That's right.
All right.
Perish without hope, but it goes with knowledge. You're right.
Okay. So,
but no,
what you got?
I'm not one of those people that think that woe is me. We'll never. No, it can happen. Our problem mostly is Ron kind of talked about it earlier. There's a great number of people who live in big cities who have no access to outside of their neighborhood. They get crappy books. They don't have tutorers, and so they are not able to have their minds expanded when they are young, which is really when it's important.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be able to see the other side.
Yeah.
How come we didn't just fight for equal? Like, why did we fight to get separate? Like, I get it, but
no, we didn't fight to get separate.
No, we was fighting for integration because it was separate but equal, right? But if it was actually equal, then we wouldn't have been fighting. But my thing is, why didn't we just fight for it to be equal? We can keep it separate, but let's just...
The separate but equal was what the court gave us. It wasn't... I mean, just like now, those 12 people...
But equal mean?
That means you black people stay in your place.
It was like... I mean, okay, so I think separate but equal was truly like a fallacy because we know that the resources were not equally distributed.
Right. No, but we didn't have any power to get any past that point. You know, everything.
I say we didn't have the power. We just didn't use the power.
Now you got to remember, there's still a whole bunch of them, and very few of us. And we're literally talking like at this time. I think like I forgot 1886, 1990, 1900 or something when separate but equal pops up, and then we move. So we make steps, but it takes an awful lot because they're really trying to stop us from ever succeeding.
Absolutely.
So,
all right.
I mean, we don't get to 1950 until we get Brown versus the Board of Education. Versus the Board of Education.
But why wasn't the fight concentrated to equal versus integration?
You take the case that the Supreme Court will take. So you go to the Supreme Court with a case, and it's got to be about something. So, when...
No, it's because we thought that they had better. We didn't think what we had was.
Well, see, you're thinking from
suffice.
You're thinking from 2020. 20 years ago, you guys were being held hostage as slaves. You're fighting for every inch, but you know that you're not gonna be able to do a quantum leap up here. You're fighting to get here. So they got here.
Gotcha.
And then people kept fighting, and you get small, It's like being on the football team, and you run the ball all the time, and you're just getting 3.5, 4 yards right.
You're still getting that first.
But you're still moving, yes.
That's deep. Okay.
It's when we stop moving, which I think we're only getting like inches right now.
But I think
now we're in trouble.
But I feel like we doing that, we're still moving slow.
Yes.
We're moving too slow doing it that way.
Well, that's because... we don't have we didn't have the capability to move any faster because the system that Ruthie's always trying to burn, we don't control the system. There has to be white people who come aboard and say, they got a point.
See that system. If we never integrated into that system, then we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Come on, Ron Rilla.
Yeah, so there would be.
We should have created our own system.
So there'd be 1 million of us living in 10 blocks.
I bet you to be
No,
black.
we-
Hold on,
we would've spread out. We would've pushed them.
Black Wall Street. What's wrong? What's wrong with us?
You know what happened?
Living
to Black
together.
But listen, I was just gonna say.
I know.
Every time
That's my
we
point.
bring up Black Wall Street, somebody says, "You know what happened over Black Wall Street?"
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all scared.
So that was the time period. At the time period, well, it takes time to build things, and because they didn't just burn Black Wall Street, what they burned was the resources. So once they destroyed the infrastructure.
But
so,
what do we do about that, though? What do we do about that?
Can we get that back?
Well,
You've been
you
scared
build the
since.
resources again, but that takes time. Nothing happens overnight, unfortunately.
Okay, so
but it's like we moving on their time. And we need to stop moving on their time. It's like it takes time. Yeah, it takes
I've
time.
never been in war, but I've read a lot of books.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't.
Yeah, it
you
takes
can't
time
take the hill
when you going by their system.
You can't take the hill by just
yes,
snapping
you
your
can.
fingers.
That you know what? That is the generational divide right there. I think that millennials, we like burn it down, and y'all like, whoa. I got this too flat. I'm trying to preserve.
No. You say burn it down, but all you're really talking about is let's destroy everything else around us. And don't think that's not the first time. Did I tell you about circles?
What?
I don't
Have you been to the West
I don't
Side?
think destroy is a good word because we're not trying to destroy anything.
Ruthie is. Have you been to the West Side, Ruthie?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been to Pulaski.
Madison and Pulaski?
Pulaski has looked the same since 1968.
Okay. That was deep, Todd. So the question that I want to ask is we moving into solutions, y'all.
Right, solutions.
Moving into solutions.
Solutions, I tell you the same thing all the time. It's all about organizing.
All right. So yes, and I want to let me interject a comment. Mike said, solution Mike said, the body can't move without the head. There is no black leadership. So as long as your black leadership is for sale, the body will always be in the same position. So when we talk about solutions, and Todd, you always say it's unity. You always say it's unity.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of also realize that it's also it's
true,
economic, it's likely spiritual. I'm going to throw in some mental health, but let's think solutions. So the first step toward unsegregating or resegregating or whatever you want to call it, deintegrating, I don't know what to put it, is our own economic power base.
I think we have to start locally pulling our resources, like within our neighborhoods.
All right.
Like, and it has to start in neighborhoods.
And hold on, Todd, because Randy said the West Side got burned down in 1968 and still did not get rebuilt. Was that after the riots?
Yeah, it was the riots. It was after Martin Luther King got shot. They burned down the stores in the main thoroughfare, and they never got replaced.
Okay. So
and who's in charge of replacing them?
It's all about what?
Money,
That's
resources.
Right. If you had the money, Ron, you could
right,
take a
but they had the
rebuild
money.
It.
They had the money. They weren't
Who's
interested. Them white people.
Yeah, they weren't interested.
They weren't interested in rebuilding over there.
Now they buying it up.
Now you're trying to integrate again. What's wrong with you, man?
Or they're trying to gentrify.
You can build over here without coming over here. You ain't got to integrate.
But we don't want that either, because we have that in my neighborhood, which is a solid middle class neighborhood. But all the stores now are by people who don't live there, who get in their cars. They drive southwest, they drive north, and take the money with them.
All right. Alvin said we need a black code of ethics. And we're going to talk more about that. We solution-oriented in this last hour. We're going to give away this basket from Madam Carrie
used to
K.
use the
Steele.
10 Commandments. What happened?
We're going to talk about that. Oh, here go Todd with his respectability, politics, and religion. the white
like
man's
nothing,
religion. All right.
All right, we'll take Kwanzaa then.
All right. We will be right back.
In the 90s, with the black girls, where you in the 90s, with the black girls, where you in the 90s.
And now joined by Dartisha Pitts, Esquire. I asked you to join us on the Book of Dawn because you are that girl. And I wish more of us did take the time to honor each other as women and successful women, because our unity, I truly believe that. Dartisha Pitts serves as the General Counsel for the Office of the Illinois Lieutenant Governor. In 2017-18, she served as the President of the Cook County Bar Association.
Becoming an attorney was almost default. I think it was more so a personality thing. I always wanted to advocate for those who couldn't advocate for themselves. And growing up, I would get in trouble for that. Because my mom, be like, look, they not even talking and you talking, you be quiet. I kind of almost felt the injustice for others, sometimes even more than I feel the injustice for myself. I would say in high school, I was the sophomore class president. So I've always taken leadership positions to push the voice of my colleagues. I'm also from the South Side. I've seen so many injustices that I always felt like our community, our families, where do you go? I've seen and been victim of from family where you've been victim of a slumlord. How do you address and get a remedy in that situation? I grew up in an environment where the police would be in the community and you would see the police harass those on the block for no reason. How do you get a remedy? Everybody talked about a lawyer, but nobody knew how to access one directly. And I think that was my drive to continue to be an advocate. I didn't know it was going to be a lawyer, though.
You apply and get accepted at Northern Illinois College of Law. Did you go directly after undergrad to law school?
No, I actually, right after undergrad, I moved to Washington, D.C., to work at a international law firm, Skadden Arps, Slate Marn Flom, in their corporate section. And I was a legal assistant for a year. When I got there and I realized how much I was making and how much those attorneys were making, who did go straight through, they weren't that much older than me, that influenced my law school trajectory. But I realized that although they did well, the type of work was not meaningful and purposeful enough for me. I wanted to be connected to the community. So I came back home and went to law school. I took 2 years out in between undergrad and law school.
And you not only complete, as many do, but you actually then take and pass the bar. Because that's the tricky piece. Lots
on the first try.
There you go. A full anomaly right there. And I think it discourages some potential students or people from going into law because that bar exam is, first of all, not easy to pass on the third try, but for somebody to pass it on the first try is indeed confirmation that you were doing what you were supposed to do.
Yep.
The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
Well, what was the power of the Bible? Most motherfuckers couldn't read. So the Bible legitimately changed the world because motherfuckers began to learn to read. And once I can learn to read, wait a minute, I can question some of this bullshit you talking
What school
about.
you go to, though?
It don't matter.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well,
I went to Dunbar.
Yes!
That sounds Dunbar. Oh, it's good. People disrespect the city schools. This Chicago. And I'm a motherfucking genius.
And that's on period.
Shout out to the mighty man. Nah, I'm just playing. But seriously though, think about it though, right? The Bible legitimately changed the world, right?
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
WIFTBPM. Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
Welcome back. Let us know. You are tuned into the Book of Dawn. I am Ruthie Moore, Todd Stroger, Ron Rilla. We having an intergenerational conversation this afternoon. And within this final hour, we are focused on solutions. And so far, we done determined that economics is important. And let's talk a little bit about spirituality. Because Todd said, don't we got the 10 Commandments? Instead of the Black Code of Ethics that Alvin said, Todd said, don't we got the 10 Commandments? And then we went on break.
I think black people need to refine spirituality, though. We need to
Speak on it, Ron. What you mean?
I mean, we so broke up as far as, like, religion and confused, I feel like, you know, Catholics versus Christians and all the extra stuff.
See, I never really thought that, well, you know, we're all Christians in that sense, Catholics and Protestants, as we call Muslims. You. Call the rest of your guys. Yeah. But everyone's looking at the same two books.
But are they interpreting them the same?
Right, they're not interpreting them the same, though.
For the most part. You know what most wars are about? Well,
religion.
They used to be about religion.
And money.
But you know how much religion they're about? Probably about this much of a page in the Bible. No, it's this. No, it's this. And then you fight. It's really crazy stuff.
All right. So Devin said religion is not spirituality. So I think he tended to agree with you a little bit, Ron.
I feel you, exactly.
Religion isn't spirituality. Spirituality is in you.
Yeah, it's two different things.
All right, yeah. Nicole said religion is the problem, not spirituality. So, okay, so as we think about...
All right, then, the problem is spirituality. How we get that back?
All right, so yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Well, one thing, I had an African-American history teacher in high school, and...
Were they black?
Man, yeah. Abdul Muhammad, Mr. Abdul Muhammad, he was a great teacher, and one thing he always told me that stuck with me, you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you're going to know where you have to know where you come from.
To know where you're going. That's right.
We have to
know your past.
We have to start teaching the youth the right way. And this is what I said earlier about code switching. We have to start teaching them at a young age, teaching our youth. We don't have to code switch. We don't have to integrate to be successful. We have to start teaching them what spirituality is and how to believe in yourself to achieve, not to believe in the system to achieve.
You want some God body type stuff?
You feel me? Revolution.
Hey, Ron, you talking about Mr. Muhammad at CVS?
Yes.
Gee, that man changed my life.
Shout out.
How he changed your life, Flo?
I had him as a teacher for summer school one year, and just the way he carried himself and the way he educated us on how to carry ourselves, you know. At the time, I was about 15. There wasn't many people who really gave a fuck outside of just trying to teach a class, like trying to teach you what's in some book. He actually gave a fuck about raising great black history.
Black history was every year for him. So every day for him. So instead of having Black History Month, every morning for the entire year 365, he gave us a Black History fact on a different black person. We celebrated blackness in his classroom.
So I think Robin Patrice hit it on the head. She said, spirituality comes through culture too, and we tend to be lacking in that area.
Yep.
So did he instill values of manhood and stuff in y'all?
All of that. Just empowerment to be black, because the women too.
Mm-hmm.
The sisters too. He reached out to he would take us to the masses. He took them to the mass with him.
You know what? I think that you are absolutely right in terms of the impact on young people, because I can remember the first black woman I saw with locks. And I was like, I'm getting locks. Because it wasn't because of their hairstyle. It was because I respected that person so much. So much. And Ready Rock says, shed self-hate. So I guess is the solution is we got to help the young people? Is there no hope?
I feel like, I feel like, you know how J. Cole say, I'm stuck in the middle of two generations. I'm like, there's a part of me that feels like there's no hope, and there's a part of me that feels like there is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there can be a revolution. And then there's another part of me that just looks at my generation like, man, I think it's too late.
Okay.
But if we can reach out to the younger, it might be too late for the millennials. It might be too late for us.
Well, don't say that.
It is, because we already...
Yeah, Ruthie hates when you say that.
We're already stuck in our ways.
No, but think about this. We are about to... I think we might be the highest population in the workforce right now. Millennials.
I think I did hear that.
Yeah. So congrats to us. We moving on up there. And I think we are really going to change the world. Now, I don't know which way it's going to go.
That can be...
That's why I say I don't know which way it's going to go.
That can be looked at as a good thing and a bad thing, too. Because You saying millennials are the largest population in the workforce?
Yes.
What's the workforce?
Ooh.
That's the place where we have to code switch at. The workforce is the place where we have to dress appropriately to fit in. You know what I'm saying? These workplaces.
But Ron, let me ask you this, Ron.
Where we shouldn't.
Ron, think about this. People our age, they are able to wear like scarves and stuff to work.
This is new though.
That's what I'm saying. That's our generation. We are setting workplace standards.
So, but it's still too late for us to make a change. I mean, it's our duty to I think it's the millennials' duty to start teaching the next generation.
100%. I agree with you. All right, another.
Because that came to my mind. I think Ron's absolutely correct, and as Brian Mullins likes to point out, that when they closed all those schools, those were black teachers who left the system. So, and as Mays pointed out last year, now if you look at the CTU, it's majority white.
Where did they go? And did they leave were they pushed out?
They went home. Yeah, they were pushed out.
Pushed out. And
how do we get black people back into those teaching?
But black people are teachers all the time.
But
we
not
don't need a school. Look.
Yeah,
we're not even in school now. Kids not even in school
we
now.
don't get to like, I'm not gonna see a bunch of kids who live on 63rd and Carpenter.
Which
reach out.
Listen, you already know how I feel about mentoring and what that means.
Reach out.
But even mentoring, it's going to be a limited amount of people that I'll just use me that will be able to talk to. I mean, we need something somewhere. Like at school, like you two were saying, your teacher saw you 9 months out of the year and could really enforce things.
But that's what. But that goes back to the old saying: "It takes a village to raise a child." Because even if you don't see, somebody's seeing them every day.
And I think there's a whole bunch.
They're seeing black people every day.
I think there's a whole bunch of people who don't want to hear from me, like Ruthie. No,
I disagree, Todd. I feel like you.
The millennial.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the parents, though. I'm not talking
I feel you, Todd. But the people that don't want to hear from you are the millennial group. Because it's going through one ear and out the other for them. You know what I'm saying? But the children under them will listen. They're not looking at your age. Millennials are looking at your age.
The parents are the barrier, though. You just can't talk to anybody's kid.
That's true.
Yeah. So how do we get to the children?
So that is a really good question. And so in terms of the teachers and the aspect of education, can we agree that we have to capture back the minds of our children?
Yes.
And we can start there.
Yes.
If we can, okay. So how do we start there? Do we put an emphasis on black teachers? Do we put an emphasis on in this COVID world that we live in? Are we going to homeschool? Like what are we gonna do?
I think we put an emphasis on black culture.
Ooh.
Ruthie, were you a sociology major? Lead us then. No.
Well, I mean, I was also an African and Black diaspora studies and juvenile justice.
Ah.
And so that's just like black kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in Afrocentric education. And just kind of like Ron said, I think that you have to shape the minds of the young people when they're little. So like little simple things that I do is I acknowledge, like when I talk to young girls, I call them beautiful. I tell them how intelligent they are. When I talk to young black men, I say, hey, what's up, black man? What's up, young black man? So that they can know that their blackness is not a curse, that it is a beautiful thing. And so that's one thing that I do on my personal purview to let young black kids know that, yes, you might not be able to describe the feelings that you feel in society. Like you don't really understand systemic racism and why you talk this way when you're around these people, or why you feel, a little bit nervous or a little bit more sweaty around white people and you see them as authority figures. But I think that we can combat all of those things by pouring more into our young people. And you have a daughter. So like, what are some things that because you done been through a lot, Todd Stroger. So how do you keep your pulse on your daughter? Like, what do you tell your daughter about the world?
My wife is my daughter's person.
Okay.
Like,
so you got a good wife.
Yeah, she keeps close to my daughter.
It's family.
You got a good black wife.
I mean, they watch, like I said, watch things together.
She
don't like people to know she listens to K-pop, but they watch that and they watch things about violins together. So my wife tries to make sure that she knows she's going in the right direction.
All right. So Beulah said it is all about the curriculum. So when we think in terms of school curriculum, do y'all think that when we desegregated the schools that we messed up the curriculum?
Very smart.
I mean, I think that
We know because she loved the alphas.
I think that comes second.
Why you say that? Why you say that, Ron?
What's wrong with you, Ron?
No, I mean with the curriculum, because I believe, like Todd was saying, it starts with it's family first. We have to.
He's right. I mean, I agree with Ron. Family first.
We're losing people to look up to. The children don't have those father figures, in their household, and that does something like not having a family structure. Like you said, your wife is able to teach your daughter, so you don't really have to.
Right.
Do you have a son?
Yes.
But you were able to do that.
Yeah,
So,
we talk all the time.
Right.
When I go to the grocery store, I'm saying, Hans, we're going to the grocery store.
So imagine a guy growing up in a household with just a mother. You know what I'm saying? He's not learning certain things. So in order we have to put family structures back together first.
Yeah.
So is it okay? So hold on. So basically, in a silo, these things can't happen. We got to put an emphasis on family and young people.
Yeah, because if we just send them out in the world, if we say it's the curriculum, that means we're sending them out into the world, and we're making the world responsible. That means every time, what did the school teach you? What the school didn't teach you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's important, and we should talk about that after the break.
Oh, come on, Todd. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we almost there, y'all. 12 o'clock. We're gonna keep this conversation going. This is an important intergenerational conversation.
Start at home, Robin.
All right, Book of Dawn, Ruthie, Todd, Ron, Rilla. We will be right back.
Hey family, this is Dawn Milhouse from the Book of Dawn. Christmas and holiday time means giving to me. Make certain that you give of yourself to somebody else. This is Dawn. Happy holidays from the Book of Dawn.
Shout out to the Bigs. They just wrapped up another edition of On the Soil. They talked to Eric Davis. I didn't know that brother was like all that cold.
I didn't either.
Gino is the baseball
guy.
expert, right? So whatever he say, that's how I'm rolling. So just hearing how he's been talking about him since they actually scheduled that interview made me looking like, how cold was this dude? It's legit.
Shout out to Don for the guest. Look.
Yeah, Don is the deal, G.
Guest look is outrageous.
Don is the plug.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing.
She is the plug.
Don is dead at the
With
plug.
Gino and Mace. Why are we being left out over here?
Well, that's not really true.
Okay, well, break it down for me.
Oh, a wise guy, eh?
What'd she do? She set us up with Scoop.
Okay.
I've had Scoop's number for a while.
Salute.
But even like I'm associates with, Don is like, boom. You know what I'm saying? So I be like, hey, let's get you on the show sometime. I'm like, yeah, let's set it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. We'll do. Don like, hey, yo, I need you on the show tomorrow. Like, okay.
Sit your $5 down before I make change.
Like, it's different with the big little sis, man.
The last of the Gambinos or something.
For real. She about that action. So shout out to Don, man. Shout out to the Book of Dawn.
WIFTBPM. Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
Yeah, man. Ideas, man. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you.
Welcome back, family. This is the Book of Dawn. Ruthie, Todd, and Ron Rilla filling in. And we are having a conversation, a pretty good conversation, if I might.
Let me just tell Devon, I didn't say the schools were not part of the solution. I didn't say that. I just said parents come first. They do have to coexist.
Right.
Okay.
To jump on Ron's point, I was telling you guys during the break that when our school was transitioning into all black, at St. Felicitas, the parents were very instrumental in what the curriculum was. So we learned a lot of things during like a free reading period where we would read about black people and what they'd done, you know, Robert Small, Matthew Henson, during school. And, you know, our parents didn't have to worry about, you know, what did you learn?
Mm-hmm.
They knew what the curriculum was going to be.
Okay, so you had parents that were invested in actually what you were learning at school.
Right. Like my mom was part of the Parent Teachers Association.
Now that's
Interesting.
interesting.
Where I grew up, we didn't have a lot of that.
That's interesting.
We didn't have that. My mother was going to work before I even got ready for school.
You was a latchkey kid, meaning you had to come home by yourself. And
yeah, me and my brothers, we let ourselves out, we let ourselves in. Our mother didn't get home until nighttime. She was working 2 jobs. So she would leave out before us and be home when we were in the bed. You know what I'm saying? So she got our grades. And we had to wait till the parent-teacher conferences and report card pickup in order to actually talk to my teachers and see what's going on, where it needed help at. You know, we didn't get that at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It does something to you.
My father had old friends. So, you know, if he was 30, his friends were like 45. So they leaned on him, said, go to law school, and he did. And once he did that, that gave him the ability to, you know, make money quickly, you know, by doing a lot of divorces or something whenever he needed it. So my mother stayed home till probably I was like in 5th grade, and then she got a job.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So in keeping with our solution-oriented mindset, let me just read a few comments. So Shannon said, my kids challenged their curriculums with truths and facts about real Black history. But it's because she said she taught it at home.
Right.
So now this part of the conversation is going to get a little shaky because we about to talk a little bit about personal responsibility and the role of like parents. Now, since I am passionate about just advocating for young people, sometimes I see a lot of failures on the part of parental figures in the lives of young people. So the question that I want to explore with y'all is, whose responsibility is it to then pick up that slack that's left by parents who might not be doing, quote unquote, such a good job?
At school. That's why
you say school.
That's why I say school comes second, because they have to acknowledge. They got to acknowledge that, because if they're coming,
it's hard on the teachers though.
Right, but kids. I mean, the teachers can acknowledge which kids need more help than others. You know what I'm saying? They can see which households are better off. They can see what kid is not getting, don't have the same clothing. You know what I'm saying? Or
my mother was a substitute teacher in the public school system. She said, man, it was hard to get the kids where they needed to be because they would come to school, they would be hungry. They wouldn't be clean. So she'd go through all that kind of stuff before she got into the subjects.
But that's your job. That's
not the teacher's job.
It's not literally your job.
Yeah.
But it's your responsibility. It should be your responsibility. Because once they come in that classroom, they're your kids.
Yeah, but the problem with it was you ate up the teaching time. So they didn't get as much teaching hours.
Listen, that's what their parents come in at.
What if they ain't got no parents?
They're supposed to come in at.
Right. If their parents were
so
doing
hold
a better
on,
job,
hold on. Let's talk through this.
They wouldn't
But
come to school.
What's more important though? That
That's
curriculum that they're gonna have to relearn anyway because they're being taught the wrong way, or them personally. Which one is more important?
Well, no. If you got the good parents that are able to help the kids, then you won't have that problem at school, and everything will kind of like fly.
All right. So again, my question is, when the home fails the young person, where does the responsibility lie to get them back on track? Is it the responsibility of the community, of the village?
It takes a village to raise a
Ron
child.
said the schools.
The school should be part of the village.
Ooh, that's deep, Ron.
Like my dad was very interested in what happened.
And Robin Patrice,
kids.
the school should be part of the village. And what Robin Patrice was saying is, shout out to Robin, where the schools were placed and located made a difference, which is a problem too. Because certain schools have better,
All right, so hold on. Let me just take this back a little bit.
True.
if we saying that school is a part of the village, and we know that schools we integrated them, right? So we kind of sent our kids to the enemy to be taught. So hold on, wait. Because I know one thing for sure is that black teachers are oftentimes social workers, librarians. They your mama, they your daddy, they the laundromat, they the breakfast line. Like, they have to do a lot. Black teachers, that's why they are so important, because like y'all said, sometimes our kids come in, their clothes might be dirty, they might be hungry, like a lot of different things. So when we take the black teachers out of the equation, what are we supposed to do? Are those schools still the place that catches the kids? Exactly not. So then what happens?
I only had 2 black teachers in 12 years.
Oh, you went to Catholic school, though. No. Didn't y'all have black nuns? Oh, I guess a nun is not a teacher, huh?
No, a nun is a teacher.
Didn't y'all have black nuns?
How do you think they kept the cost down? They didn't pay the nuns nothing.
But I thought black nuns was like a huge thing.
No. I mean, there's a couple of orders but nuns in itself are dying out, which is why school is so expensive, why fewer people send their kids to Catholic schools.
Okay. Again, I'm going to ask my question. If the schools fail the young people, where do they end up? Where are they supposed to land?
That's a great question. I'm not certain I know the answer.
What you think? What y'all think?
I'll tell you what actually happens. When the school does fail them, they end up in those neighborhoods.
Or it's called the school to prison pipeline.
Right.
Ending up in those neighborhoods is what lead them to the prisons. So they have to get into the neighborhood, which is where the gangbangers and drug dealers are at when they're not in school. You know what I'm saying? So now they can't depend on home and they can't depend on school. So now they're looking to the guys on the block. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they become their family.
That becomes their family.
Are y'all talking about street organizations?
Yeah, and that becomes their family and that becomes their role models.
Right.
Okay, so y'all just tucked us back into the circle, but again, it's so evident that it's so hard to come up with solutions to this stuff.
The solution is to fix the neighborhood, fix families, fix schools.
Did somebody just say reparations?
It does come down to money, but reparations
ain't all about money, Todd.
I don't think it comes down. Well, that's what most people think, but I don't think it comes down to reparations in that sense. I think the ability for people to start businesses in our neighborhoods is what would keep us going. Because
capital?
It is about capital. So
we do need reparations.
Yes, we do need reparations.
It's a necessity.
But America has decided that they are not going to look at us as a group and say that you have been, held back.
That's because of the ADOS versus non-ADOS, right?
Well, that is a battle.
There's that big.
But it's more a people of color thing. So, like, you won't hear Joe Biden say much about African Americans. He'll say people of color. That's the thing now. So everybody who's not white needs a leg up, while we have had so many psychological things done to us that we need a different level. But
they won't acknowledge that.
No, since Ronald Reagan, the world has been, it might even been Richard Nixon, the world has been deemed to be colorblind. They don't. They keep on telling us that. Well, no, you guys, you got the same chance as everybody else.
See, that's why we need de-integration. That's the real solution.
All right, so that was a lot, y'all. We trying to stay solutions oriented.
Segregation.
Okay, so Ron said let's
totality.
Go. Ron said let's go back to segregation.
What to say? Zero grade reliance. F them.
Okay, so Todd, no.
Oh no, that won't work.
See, I think we are a little bit more radical.
Right.
Like, why can't you get radical with us, Todd?
Well, I like my kids to actually live.
Scared.
So,
you're scared.
Todd.
You're scared.
You know what? Without fear, there is no courage.
All right. When we come back, we're going to keep on trying to get Todd on the revolutionary train.
Scared. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared, Todd. If you scared, go to church.
That's what the kid said to me when he walked out in front of my car. I ain't scared. I'm like, you're a fool, because I could run you over and you'd be dead right now.
All right. We will be right back. Book of Dawn, Ruthie, Todd, Ron, Rilla. We're going to finish it up. More solutions.
Hey, family. This is Lisa E. from the Book of Dawn, and I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday season and be safe. We love you.
Shop Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday. Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday. Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
You better be careful. Baby, be careful. This is a baby making tone. Better be careful what your radio on. This is a baby making tone. Better be careful what your radio on. You let down your hair when you're feeling sexy. You bite on your lip when you're holding your tongue. You uncross your legs, yeah, without even speaking. Your body is screaming. You wanna make love.
Welcome back to the best intergenerational conversation that you are probably going to ever hear. Okay, I'm tooting our horn.
Dope conversation.
All right, Ruthie,
My
Todd,
mother
Ron
said,
Rilla.
if you don't toot your horn, Ruthie, who will?
I know that's right. But all right, so Todd, I want to give you a quote from our very own Toussaint.
Oh, let's hear what Toussaint has to say.
Toussaint said that as a man, a captured man, death must be part of the equation. What do you think about that, Todd?
Well, in war, there is, it depends on the culture, but a lot of cultures are like, if you've been captured, then, you should die. Death before being captured. But in reality, there's a whole bunch of other cultures that are like, I want to see my kids. People not only want to see their families, they want to see their families prosper and do well. So, yeah, just going to the slaughter.
Self-perseverance.
Preservation.
Preservation.
Yeah. But that goes for your was it progeny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your children, your family, everybody else that's involved.
Oh, okay, Todd. Let me push back a little bit. So you know how you always push back when I'll be like, let's just burn down the whole system because let's just start over. Let's just take our chances.
I'm going to call you Matches Ruthie.
You always say, that's anarchy. That's anarchy.
It is anarchy. I'm not for anarchy.
Okay, but this is what I want to ask you. So as a person, we live in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look around the neighborhood, everybody ain't doing good.
Nope.
Right? So if it's only a few of us doing good, how could I selfishly say...
Hold on. You said everybody's not, but then you changed it to there's only a few of us doing good.
You see our neighborhoods. So many of us aren't doing well.
There's a few.
So when I say a few, that's like relative. But my question is, I'm of the mindset that I'm willing to sacrifice the little bit that I got for everybody else to have something. And it seems like most people are not, because like you said, the first law of the nature is what? Self-preservation.
Right, but self-preservation can also go to your group. So, if you feel like you're a part of a larger group, part of your thing is to preserve it. It's like
preserve what?
The group itself. It's like World War II.
But hold on. To preserve what though? Because I'm preserving something that ain't mine.
So when people went to Germany to fight, they were fighting because they were fighting for a certain way of life. They wanted the American way of life to stay. They didn't want the Germans to come over and take them. So in our neighborhoods, like I can only relate to what I know well. So like when the 8th Ward, what we did, we had, when we were at our peak, as I'll say, we had a program that gave out scholarships, and we did what those things where models walk, clothes and all that kind of stuff. Fashion show.
Oh, I was going to say prostitution.
No, not prostitute. It was a fashion show.
Okay.
And then my dad also had another scholarship program that was funded by a golf outing. We did a parade that went from Cottage Grove to Jesse Owens Park, a picnic in the woods on 159th Street.
Mm-hmm.
We did a summer program at Avalon. No, all the parks. Avalon, Rosenblum, and Jesse Owens, where the kids would have people come out and coach them in basketball. And, we'd have other things sometimes, depending on the volunteers we had. So we had cheerleading, and I think we had one year we had volleyball. So it was trying to get our greater community engaged with each other and have things to do. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about trying to preserve the community. So everybody in the community should be trying to preserve things like that, where we're all working to keep our kids engaged, keep people knowing each other, that kind of stuff.
But if we see that that's not happening, then what allegiance do I have to preserve a system that my people can't benefit from?
Right,
Just hold on, wait. Just because I can see a path to benefit from it in some type of way, meaning I'll go ahead and take the shillings. But just because I see a path, what type of person does that make me? If I'm more community minded and I'm saying, no, I'm not about to take this 50 cents because I feel like we all could get the million.
You know how my dad knew that kind of stuff? Because he grew up in an organization, in the Third Ward organization, and they did that kind of stuff. So when he became the head of the organization, they did that kind of stuff. You want to be helpful? Don't burn down my house. Organize something where you're helping the rest of the community and you're getting people to help you help the rest of the community.
But wouldn't it be helpful to burn down the whole system, though?
Well, you're not going to do that. You are not powerful enough. And if you do burn down the whole system,
I might not be, but what about the other 2 or 3 people?
So what do you do when people stop you from community building?
Who's going to stop you, boo?
They're gentrifying the neighborhoods as we speak.
They're not stopping you. See, that's as I said, it's a separate issue of Ron.
Money.
Yes. It's a separate issue
but
of money.
But if we ain't got no money.
Well, that goes back to full circle, because what do we need? We need capital.
Right. We do need capital. So we need to force
our communities,
that issue.
without putting capital into the communities, we don't own the communities. So our communities cannot come together.
It ain't ours. Why shouldn't we burn
our communities?
Aren't you supposed to get rid of infiltrators? When there's people that's infiltrating and you found out they infiltrators?
You know what? Remember when, what was it you, Ron, who said you didn't know you were poor?
I didn't know I was poor.
Or was that you, Ruthie?
I will say that too. I had no idea. But I think that was Ready Rock that said that maybe.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think you're right. My dad grew up in Arkansas and he was poor, but when he talked about Arkansas, I thought, is this Arkansas or New York City?
See, what y'all don't understand about Pembroke is that Pembroke still has dirt roads, no police department, places have outdoor plumbing. Like the only place that I've seen poverty on that level is when I went to Africa last year, when I went to Ghana. That is the only place that I've ever seen that looks like the place where I'm from, where I grew up.
You obviously haven't been to Mississippi, or Arkansas.
No, but my point is that there are different levels to poverty. But my question is, once you can identify the enemy in the room, isn't it your job to get rid of the enemy?
No, your job is to organize the troops.
I don't want to work with the enemy.
No, because
not the enemy. You will organize your people.
Then you start to discriminate on who are your troops and who aren't, and that we don't need that. Because
Ron, I'm 58. No, I'll be 58 next month. You know what I learned?
What?
Everybody ain't gonna come. You can't save everybody. It's impossible.
See, but when you have that mind state, then you go back to self.
No. I'm not talking mind state. I'm talking about literal.
Mm-hmm.
You go to people and say, man, if we get over here, you will do well. And they say, I don't want to go. What are you going to do?
But that's because they have that mind state. They don't know. Like you said, they don't know what's over there.
So what are you going to do?
We have to teach them what's over there.
You got to
show them what's over there.
So what if after I tell them what's over there, they still say they don't want to go?
Then you know what you do? You put the shotgun to their back.
See, you guys are young. So here's a movie that's great.
You put the shotgun to their back.
One of my heroes.
Against us?
Well, two of them actually. Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm. You talking about Bill that's locked up?
Yeah,
Hey,
but Bill
get off
Cosby,
my man.
Bill Cosby has done some great things. Let me. I don't mess with Bill Cosby. He great. So
Come on, y'all.
so in the movie, they're trying to help inner city kids, just like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a teacher, and one of the girls just blasts her, and basically what she says is, "You think you're better than me because you come from the suburbs, and you come here and you try to make me do the things that you think you try to force me to do things, but basically you're only doing them because you're trying to make yourself feel good." There's a lot of that kind of feeling out there where you're trying to say, this is how I was able to achieve a certain level of comfortness. And if you follow this path, you may be able to do the same thing. But the feedback you get is, you're bougie, you're trying to tell me what to do.
Interesting. So, okay. Which brings us to my point again.
What's that?
If they don't want to go, you got to put the shotgun to their back. Either you get in where you fit in.
I mean, we don't even have to do that. Just go without them, because they gonna see eventually.
That's what I said.
And either they gonna want to come, or they gonna suffer the consequences of not coming.
If we as a community say, okay, this is what we are, we don't have enough unity, like you say, to kind of rally around certain ideas. Because it's always going to be somebody who's like, nah, I ain't doing it that way. Like, that's too much work. Like, it's always going to be dissent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I happen to think that there are certain things that we can rally around. I think reparations is one of those things. I think living in safe communities, like, we all want to live in safe communities.
I do.
Like, that's like the number one thing, right?
I don't want to look over my shoulder
you
all
have
the time.
solutions.
I mean,
Those are solutions.
I just really do think that sometimes, like, I know it's hard to fight against the system because sometimes you can't even really see it because you live in it. But I truly do think if we don't start paying more attention to dismantling these systems of oppression that we deem to be normal, then I think we're going to stay in the same cycle if we're not willing to burn it down, or at least have the mentality to burn it down.
See, that's why I feel like I'm stuck in a general. I'm like, there's a part of me that has hope, and there's a part of me that doesn't. Because there's enough of us in the community that understands that, but we still aren't moving. You know what I'm saying?
Is it, I think somebody hit it on the head earlier. It's a lack of leadership. Do you trust the person who got the shotgun to everybody back to be like, yeah, do what they say? And I think we suffer from a lack of leadership. And I said this on the show this week. From my own vantage point, when black people concentrate power, somebody end up getting sold out and co-opted. What you think about that, Todd?
I mean, I won't disagree that it doesn't happen. It does happen. But, when you look at Martin Luther King, what was he the leader of?
Civil rights movement?
He was the leader of a coalition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the Southern Baptist Conference, it's SNCC.
People got behind him, right? Didn't people rally behind him?
So all those groups got together, but they realized they needed somebody to be the leader to talk, and people would pay attention to that person and the message that he was giving.
But then when they bang bang shoot him up, assassinate him, then what happens?
That's not their leader. That's their scapegoat.
Fall apart.
Dude, I'm saying, does the movement then fall apart?
And it shouldn't, but that's
did the movement fall apart?
Yes,
I think it normally does. Yeah.
So again, the concentration of power has kind of hurt us a little bit.
It's a scapegoat, and that's
what you mean by scapegoat.
People, let's put him out there in front. Let's push
Martin
him out,
Luther King.
Yeah, let's push him out there in front. You know what I'm saying? And something happened to him. It saved us. We got to see what happened without the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
This is different because the leaders all want to be leaders. They all have their own big egos.
Oh, okay.
So they subjugated their egos to make him the face.
So Alvin said Dr. King demanded reparations and they killed him.
Well, actually, he was working at the time he got killed. He was working on trying to destroy the pretty much the military. What do they call that thing? The
military industrial complex.
Yes, he was trying to get the America out of Vietnam.
I mean, look, I'm trying to make this real simple.
What you got?
We need to get rid of this political system.
Ooh.
What are you going to replace it with?
Here go Todd. Gonna say anarchy.
Our own system, anarchy. If need be, until we figure out another system.
I think we got
all right, look,
we got anarchy already. I'm afraid to go to my car now.
Listen, let me read a few of these different perspectives. Adrian said, if you put a shotgun to someone's back, be sure they don't get you first. Everyone ain't playing that. Everyone isn't going. And Randy said, shotgun approach will put you in jail. And
You don't care about jail.
No, I don't.
we don't.
Remy said, no, our generation, we don't. Remy said, crack is the reason we have all this generational gap and a lack of understanding. Randy said, if you got a gun, they got one too. Shanisha said, Harriet Tubman was on to something.
You hear me?
And the last comment I'm gonna read before we go into our last break. Let me find a good one.
We got to lighten it up on this next break.
I know. So two said,
Say it is Christmas Eve,
Two
right?
said you can't have leadership if you don't have a unified idea. And I think he hit the nail on the head. So we got to figure out what we gonna unify and rally ourselves behind. So when we come back from this last break, we gonna give out this last basket. We gonna lighten it up a little bit, or maybe not. Yeah, maybe we can. All right.
Yeah, let's lighten up.
Hey, you the leader.
You know, I'm
gonna follow you. I don't know about Ron.
I appreciate y'all so much because I've been really wanting to have some of these dialogues, and so I really appreciate this conversation and the perspectives from the audience. Yeah. So, Book of Dawn, we filling in Ruthie, Todd, Ron Rilla nephew, Big Ron. We gave him a mic today.
About time. I get to talk.
Oh yeah, you are a millennial or whatever you guys are.
About time I get to talk.
Also, we got Flo. We got Flo on the board. So when we come back, we gonna wrap it up, y'all, and we gonna probably be out for Christmas.
Is there? Ooh.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us. Mm-hmm. You know, however, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. Apply not to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why you make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. Take it easy, say, feel so easy, say, easy to love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time, I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me, know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind.
Welcome back, family. Ron really had to step off for a minute, so me and Todd Stroger are going to rock it to the end. Thank y'all for tuning in to us. We are filling in for the Book of Dawn today. Just trying to have an intergenerational conversation. I think we've done a pretty decent job, Todd. What you think?
I think so. You know, we hit it from all sides.
I think we still got a lot more like combo to have, a lot more work to do. And it's quite interesting that when you start talking about these things that it just brings up more and more stuff.
You know, I was thinking about this, that, you know, my dad belonged to a whole bunch of organizations. I belong to a few. I think they have, I mean, we talk about things like what we're talking about today, but how do we connect with the ordinary person to try to make the solutions that you were talking about? Like, where's the solution?
You know, we got a lot of people in the comments talking about rites of passages into manhood. And I think rites of passages are so important. And if you look at other racial groups, they have so many different rites of passages that are integrated into their cultures.
But the question really was, how do we reach those young people? Because studies tend to show that if you don't reach them by third grade, they're pretty much on either a good path or not a bad path.
So you talk about investing in early childhood,
we
right?
need to start opening up more centers in our neighborhoods.
Those early learning centers?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we investing in early childhood. We are doing work to build up Black families because we understand the connection between Black families and Black children.
Right.
We also are going to... What about economics? What do we say about economics? We ain't really had no solution for that one. We said reparations.
There is no reparation.
Well, I can tell you in our state, it should be taking some of that cannabis money and giving it to people.
Come on, Todd. Talk black to us. Talk black to us.
Spend the money with your own. That's how you do it.
So supporting Black business?
Here, supporting only Black business.
Okay.
Until we got an equal playing field, then we can spread our money other places. But we have all the money. We don't need reparations. We got the money now. The problem is we just give it all away.
I believe in boycotts too, to be honest. I'm still a boycott. Yeah.
Tell us more about that little
I believe in boycotts
whoa. When I hear Todd talk about a little revolutionary act, what you mean by that, Todd? That you believe in boycotts? Tell us.
I have to go back to my circle. Boycotts are nothing new. How do you think the civil rights?
But hold on,
people,
but speak on it. Tell the people what you think, Todd, about a little revolutionary action.
And you got to remember when we talk about the Memphis boycott of the bus system, that lasted like I think it was 3 years. It wasn't like they did it and then they just like it's not gonna work. We quit. They did it until they felt the economic pressure, and then they had to give in to them.
They gave each other rides and stuff, though, didn't they?
Oh yeah, yes. It was organized. The whole thing was organized. I mean, Rosa Parks didn't sit down because she didn't feel like getting up that day.
Yeah, she organized too.
Right, she was part of the.
Which
the
you know
thing.
what? I wish they actually taught that story in that way. Because they only really teach us in school that Rosa Parks ain't get up. They didn't really teach us about the organizational aspect and all that went into it and how it was actually a dark-skinned young pregnant teenager first, but they gave it to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish they would teach us about the organizational aspect because they really teach Black history to us from a symbolic perspective versus a concerted effort perspective.
I like that, yeah.
That's what happened when the enemy teaching you all your stuff.
Ooh.
That's true. I agree with that too.
Good deep on them.
All right. So we got this last basket that we're going to give out. So we're going to ask a trivia question. And you put the answer in the chat. The first one that I see is going to win this basket, courtesy of Madam President Carrie K. Steele. I think she called it a pandemic. No, baby, it's COVID outside basket.
Yes.
So we got some wipes, some masks, literally what you need to survive this pandemic. So get ready with your fingers to type into the chat. This is a very easy question. We talked a little bit earlier about the Major League Baseball. So who was the first player, African-American Major League Baseball player? Put it in the chat. The first African-American Major League Baseball player. If I see you put it in the chat first, then you are going to win this lovely, wonderful gift basket. So when I see it in the chat, I'm going to send you a private message for you to give me your phone number, and I'm going to add your name to our prize list.
That's dope. That's
so
dope.
The first Black person in the MLB, Major League Baseball. Eugene McIntosh said Jackie Robinson. Can Eugene can Gene win? No, y'all.
No, he can't win.
Okay, sorry, Gene. Gene, I'm sorry. I gotta take the next one. No, come on, Gene. Okay, Gene got it right. If y'all see what Gene said, then okay. All right, we got a winner.
He a sports expert too.
The winner is Janelle Ben Israel Logan, and I hope I said your name right. So I'm gonna send you a private message so you can send me your name. Thank you, Gene, but nice try.
Yeah, right.
But again, I do really feel like if we wouldn't have integrated baseball, that black people would be better off. I'm not saying that was going to be our economic base, but I think it would have helped us. So now when I see people with Negro League apparel on, I wish it was owned by black people. But that's a whole another conversation.
Well,
you like,
Well, now you just talk about white or black millionaires. But, baseball and all those sports things, it's a monopoly. I mean,
monopoly.
It's a closed society. They have to let you in.
Oh, here you go, Todd. All right, we got like 2 minutes left. Mike said that's not true about Rosa Parks. All right, educate us, brother. Put it on in the chat. Okay, so as we wrap up today's show, thank y'all so much for rocking with us and just adding some perspective to the conversation.
Yes.
This intergenerational conversation that is so necessary.
And I am right about Rosa Parks, but yes.
So I hope we can have this conversation again from different perspectives. I would love to get your perspective, Todd, on a whole bunch of like a myriad of different things.
I like to get you to write some stuff down because I'm pretty sure you got some great ideas when you're not being torchy Ruthie.
Listen, it's room for us all in the revolution, Todd. Mine is just a little bit more whoosh. That was the things being torched. Yes. So all right, Ron left, so he cannot formally. Ron, get back in here so you can say goodbye to the people. This your first show and you running in and out.
He must be doing some technical.
He feeling himself. No, he feeling himself. You know what they say, you give him an inch and they take him out.
That's what they say.
Okay, but Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
to everybody and happy holidays. Flo, you want to say anything to your people out there? Nope.
Ron's back.
Happy holidays,
Happy
y'all.
holidays, everybody.
All right.
Wait, can I ask y'all some questions before we go?
You got maybe like a minute, and then we got to let Todd sign off. I'm gonna sign off, and we gonna be gone.
Okay. Salt and pepper, salt or sugar on your rice.
What? Sugar and butter. If you put salt and pepper on your rice, I ain't talking to you no more.
I don't put any of that stuff on my rice.
You eat rice plain?
No, I mean it's gonna be like red beans or something in it, or andouille sausage. But no, I'm not putting sugar. I'm not from Louisiana, and I'm not from Texas.
Do you say sneakers or gym shoes?
Gym shoes.
Hey, that's all of us. Harold's or Uncle Ramus?
Harold's.
Harold's. What's the other one? Mustard or ketchup on your hot dogs?
Mustard.
Ooh, I actually like barbecue sauce and cheese. But I don't eat hot dogs no more.
I don't blame you.
Man, I don't eat hot dog is something, man, I don't eat that no more.
I like a turkey dog. I really don't like hot dogs that much.
I like a beef. I don't mind a nice beef, but I ain't trying to eat no hot dogs.
Hey.
Do you say Jewel?
I say Jules, except my wife makes fun of me. She's from New Orleans, so I try to say Jules now.
I put that's on everything.
Yeah, me too.
White Sox or Cubs?
White Sox.
I'm going with the Cubs.
She wants to be different.
We can't do any more. I want to, but we got to go. So,
all right.
But we can't finish the question.
All right, Todd, you want to sign off to your fam?
I don't know what that means. Have a Merry Christmas, all.
Y'all can follow me at Ron Rilla on Instagram and LaRon Rilla on Facebook.
All right, y'all.
Don't follow me because I have Instagram, but I never put anything on.
All right, listen, y'all. For the Book of Dawn, I'm Ruthie Moore, Todd Stroger, Ron Willa, Flo, behind the scenes. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of that stuff. So we'll see y'all when?
Monday.
Peace out.